I'm Sean Fennessey.
I'm Amanda Dobbins.
And this is The Big Picture, a conversation show about 1999. Chris Ryan is here drafting with us once again.
What's up, man?
I'm doing very well. This is our 40th draft, and so we had to up our game.
This is 40.
This has been 40 on this podcast for a while for me, honestly.
Speak for yourself.
But you're almost there. You're 40. Lathan is here.
I'll be 44 tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Happy
almost birthday.
What does
Thank
that
you,
make
guys.
you? What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get into that later.
Ram.
Mallory Rubin is here.
Hello. Am I supposed to give my age?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I guess that'll come up contextually when we talk about where we were in
It
1999.
absolutely will. Joanna Robinson is here.
Oh, hello.
And Rob Mahoney is here. You know them from various Ringer podcasts. You know them from various Big Picture drafts. This is the murder team.
It's
This
Voltron.
is the hit crew.
You didn't let Rob speak.
Hi.
Did you want to say something?
No, absolutely nothing.
He's very
okay.
economical with his words.
I
though.
try to be.
But,
Yeah.
you want people to assign names to voices,
Yes.
you know?
That's
There's
true.
7
This is-
voices that could be important.
This is a rare case, though, where we are on video, and so don't even worry about talking. Just
That's a
look
great point.
beautiful, and it'll be fine.
I'll do my best.
Rob,
Um,
you should boost the Texas drawl just to stand out a little bit.
Lots of opportunities for that
Okay,
with
great.
this draft
Oh,
class.
yeah.
How do you feel about this guy wearing a cowboy hat, kind of on your corner today?
I don't love it.
Mm.
Just because my culture is not your costume, but I like the bit you're trying to pull off.
You know what's funny about that is that black people invented cowboy culture.
Oh,
So just
I've been high roaded.
yeah, yeah. Just remember,
This is tough for me.
just remember, there's a white guilt card for almost every single emotion.
I can promise you that.
Boom, 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 boom. Have you taken responsibility for everything that's ever happened to me before the end of this goddamn podcast?
I take it back. I take it all back.
Let's save that level of enmity for the drafting, please.
Let's do it.
We have waited a long time to do 1999. This is widely considered one of the best movie release years of the last 100 years of movies. I don't know. Why did we wait? Was there a reason?
Because you have a diabolical system known only to yourself where you save the important things for occasions. And we decided 40 is it.
It's a big
You know?
one.
So
It's a
here
very
we
big
are.
one. So before you're 40, we're doing a big 40.
Thank
And
you.
I'm feeling excited about it. So 1999, Chris, I'd like to start with you.
Okay.
In 1999,
Yeah.
you were what, roughly 37. And
I just retired from minor league baseball.
where were you? Who were you? What
I
kind
was
of a guy
living
were
in
you?
Boston. I had just returned from a semester abroad. So much like Tom Ripley, I chased the Caravaggios
Oh, wow.
across the continent.
Was
you
this
know?
in Kosovo? Where did you do your
No, I was in Ireland, in Cork, and then I traveled all over Europe. They have a really lovely spring break there. It's like a month. And then I got back and I saw The Matrix. And I was like, this is what it's all about, you know?
This premise is Oscar bait, guys. This is Oscar bait. Somebody's got to do that. Who's going to star as him? We're going to bring Hedges out. Lucas Hedges.
Yeah.
Lucas Hedges
I like
out.
that. I like that energy.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
Ryan's European rum
Yeah,
springer.
this is Oscar bait right here.
So it was,
Standing online at the Uffizi, just thinking about my place.
I see it. The name of the film is Abroad.
Yeah.
But there's an extra space between the A and the B. And it's like, is it
Abroad.
about your pursuit of an Irish
wow.
woman?
Yeah, right. So it's like a
We
little
love
bit
to turn broad.
before
We love
midnight
Yes.
or before sunset or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit, The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
A little bit. What else? What are the other influences?
What if Linklater did Beekeeper? That's the Chris Ryan story.
I'm
Thank you.
waiting for that one.
Okay, Amanda, 1999. Who were you?
Well, I was 14 years old. So that was tough. That was just, I was a freshman in high school, pretty much a virgin who can't drive.
Kind of like now.
Pretty Got some follow-up questions.
That was also me in 99, so don't take it.
So in some ways that was just, the absolute rock bottom of my life. And in other ways, I was open to the possibility of pop culture because I was stuck at home with a cable subscription, no HBO. But, TRL was hitting hard. And when I could get someone to drive me to the mall, I could see a lot of movies. I think I saw a lot of these movies the next year on Blockbuster or on cable or whatever. But I did see a lot of movies because I had nothing else to do.
Mallory, did you want to address your virginity in 1999?
I was in 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
I just want to make clear I was not a virgin in 1999.
Thank you. Thanks for clearing
You're
the
gonna go
record
with
there.
that.
So
Yeah.
much. We'll
Yeah.
cover that in the movie.
Thanks, Chris. That'll be going in as a footnote, not making
Yeah.
the final edit.
What
so.
flavor of pie was it, Chris?
No.
Okay.
A warm
Chris is
apple.
like, Chris has just turned on the dime. No, dude, I was fucking hard, bro. Like,
Yeah, I was in middle school. So 99 was a big movie year because this was like the beginning of that stretch of your life, end of elementary school, early middle school. Like you're going out on your own. Your parents let you go hang out with your friends, but also you're still hanging out with your parents a lot. So I feel like I saw maybe double the movies in this stretch out in theaters that I did in any other point in my life, because there were the movies I saw with friends, there were the movies that I saw with my families, then there were the movies like the alluded to American Pie that just instantly made their way into the Franklin Middle rotation, and you basically couldn't go over anybody's house without immediately rewatching American Pie together. So it was a formative time in Reisterstown, Maryland.
Van, what about you? 1999.
deep into competitive billiards.
Yeah.
What?
What?
For sure.
Yeah.
Say more about the league, about your uniform.
I'm seeing
A man of a thousand
I'm seeing
lives.
Forrest Whitaker in The Color of Money.
Yeah, it's me.
That was you.
Deep into competitive billiards. I started working. I was at Louisiana Tech University. This is almost all I was doing. I was at Louisiana Tech University and I started working in the kennel. Our mascot was the Bulldogs. So I was working in the kennel and I got to play pool for free. And one day I saw this guy.
Was the kennel just like a bar? Like a
It's like the student union
Okay.
hangout place. And so like I saw this guy, Ellis, and he was racking up 9-ball and he was running out 9-ball racks. And so I was like, teach me. And so then we went through a whole Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker whole thing where he taught me how to play pool. And I bought a Meucci Q. I started watching Earl Strickland and Efren Reyes videos. And in 99, it was all about competitive pool to the point to where I became intramural pool champion of Louisiana Tech University. These are all facts.
I can never tell where the man ends and the bit begins with
It's
you.
facts. This is all facts.
Can we get this fact checked like legitimately?
Intramural pool champion, 1999,
college is fucking amazing.
Louisiana Tech University.
How many years did your teacher then spend in hiding on Tatooine?
Oh, well, a long time because the force, I was the chosen one. So he had to protect me. I'll tell you straight up, this was what I was into. That whole time, pool. The only thing I broke pool for, the Matrix. That's it. 8 hours a day, 9-ball racks, 3-star drills, setting it up,
Just so
drawing the ball
The
back.
only film from 1999 you've seen is The Matrix?
It's the only one I saw at the time.
So
As
I
a matter of
wonder
fact,
what's the one movie that Van feels
Yeah.
like he has to draft, or else he's gonna have
American
a bad day.
Pie.
So look, real quick, there was a girl that worked at the, I can't remember her name now. There was a girl that worked at the kennel with me, and she had gone to see The Sixth Sense. Because you have to go to Monroe to see the movie because we were in Ruston. She had gone to see The Sixth Sense. I would not leave to go see movies or go out and do anything. And she came back and she was like, Van, I can't tell you what happens in the movie. It'll ruin the whole fucking movie. And then I was like, just fucking tell me. I'm not going to see it. And she looked at me. She was so upset. She went, Bruce Willis is dead. And I was like, oh, you fucking bullshitting. How could that fucking be? I've seen the fucking trailer of the movie. So anyway, so I'm just saying that was my life, deep in the bunker of pool.
I gotta say, that's the weirdest thing that anyone's ever said on this pod. I had no idea. That's
What made you give it up?
I was like,
great question.
I get hooked on fads,
Yeah.
like this hat,
Yeah.
and then I'll just let it go. But I get deep. Like I was going around to different pool halls trying to like test my metal and stuff and getting fucked over. I was deep into it. It's facts.
If we took you out now,
Mhm.
when was the last time you played?
I'll play all the time.
Oh, okay.
Now I play all
Okay,
the time.
okay.
so you would just dominate all of us.
Yeah, it would be a joke.
Oh, I didn't mean against me. I
Oh,
meant
no.
like
We're-
we would,
we're
I would
hustling
be
other
like his
people.
manager.
Yeah, it would be a
money.
joke.
You know?
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Right.
Should we concoct an elaborate scheme for
Exactly.
immediately after this
Yes.
recording in which you
A
are at the
sting,
center
yeah.
of this
Yeah.
scheme that we've devised?
We'll have
Okay.
24 hours to execute it
The
before this podcast is
ringer.
published.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm happy to be the Rube. Like, I'll be your Woody Harrelson. Like we'll get something going here. I'm happy to do it.
Joanna, 1999, who were you? What were you doing? Where were you living?
I was here in sunny California. It was half the year is my senior year of high school, half the year is my freshman year of college. So all the movies that came out before, let's say October, I saw in the theater. I was there every week with my friends. That's what we did every single weekend is we would go on a Friday and see whatever was out. When I got to college, I kind of stopped going so that like from October on, it's like kind of a blank space because you're living a different life in the dorms, et cetera. But The Sixth Sense, I saw the Friday with my friends. My sister was home from college with her friends. I took them on the Saturday, and then I took my parents on the Sunday. And it was just like this, because spoiler culture was very different then, and you just had to like get them before word of mouth of what the plot of The Sixth Sense was. So I saw it 3 times opening weekend to be like, you have to go with me now, ask me no questions. I will tell you nothing about it, but I don't want anyone to talk to you before you see this movie. And to this day, I definitely haven't seen any other movie 3 times in one weekend. Sixth Sense owns that crown.
Wow.
So yeah.
The movie year in general was a don't spoil this for me kind of movie. We'll talk about a bunch of movies. Okay, Rob, what about you? 1989. What were you doing?
This is the year I turned 10 years old. Very formative year for me movie-wise. I saw a lot of movies, but it's more kid-friendly fare. And in particular, Star Wars Episode 1 was the thing for me. My parents got me out of school early to see it opening day.
Whoa.
I went, and I think it came out in May. And over the course of that summer, I saw it 10 times in theaters. That was like my project.
Did you dress up?
Did not dress up.
Okay.
10 times in
10's a lot.
theaters. Red flag about me.
No,
but
I love
we're
this.
sharing here.
Listen, 10-year-olds, what else are you going to do?
This
in
is
summer?
the thing. It's like
See Fight Club.
Stuart Little. Well, that's the funny thing about being 10 during this year is then I grow into an age where every person in my middle school thinks they're an anarchist because of Fight Club. Like that is
Same.
not an ideal generation to grow into.
In 1999, I was reminded of this while rewatching a movie with my wife this weekend. 1999 is the year I started dating my now wife, and we were seniors in high school. And we put on the film South Park: Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. For perhaps you've seen it, 5-star masterpiece. And she said, "I remember being nuzzled with you on our friend Sarah's couch in the fall." When we had just started dating, watching this movie when it had come to home video. And she said, I felt like this is it. This is exactly what I want my life to be.
What the fuck is happening?
And I was
That's
like,
really sweet.
that's incredible. Like that will
To
live with. And
What did you say?
I never thought of that moment again. And then
Were you like, Cartman is the funniest person I've ever seen?
it was because, you know, if you were 15 or 14 when South Park premiered, it was not unlike The Phantom Menace.
And she
A Way
saw
of Life.
Satan and Saddam and was like, Pulse.
Honestly,
us.
yes. We locked in.
Truly.
So, you know, the movie year for me was not unlike a lot of you guys. I saw a ton of the movies that were coming out. It was an extraordinary time. There's a variety of reasons why it was such an extraordinary time. But I relate to what you're saying, Joanna, which is that I was right at the end. I went to college in the fall of 2000. And then so I was right at the end of seeing every movie every weekend. And now just, you know, eventually pivoting to watching every Kevin Smith movie on DVD over and over again in my dorm room. But it's an exceptional movie year. And I don't totally know why that is, because it's working. If you look at the top 20 box office performers and you look at the Academy Awards, which are the two kind of polarities we examine as we do a draft, they're both kind of bad. You know, there's not a ton of great blockbusters. There's some classics, you know, there is The Sixth Sense and there is The Matrix, but there's also The General's Daughter and a lot of forgettable stuff there. And then the Oscars,
Quite bad.
Very.
I
Tough one.
wonder if any Oscar winner
So
in the
unrepresentative.
core categories will even go drafted amongst our eventual 42 picks.
Come on.
I don't know.
We
Of
are
the-
selecting 42
Of
films.
the
Yeah,
top
again-
8
Of the winners,
winners,
though.
the top 8 winners. So if you go picture, director, the 4 acting categories, and the 2 screenplay categories, when you look back at the list, I don't know. I wouldn't be stunned if they were overlooked.
It's not great. There's some good below the line stuff, and notably, this is pre-animated feature, and this is a great year for animated movies. So
Yep.
maybe a good winner would have been in that lot. But yeah, I'm not taking American Beauty. I wish all of you the best if you would like to.
Fantastic movie.
It's like,
Fantastic movie.
American Beauty.
I watched it. I was so mad. It's
I
so bad.
What the fuck? I love that movie.
Well,
what's your favorite
I
part,
think
man?
you'll have the opportunity to draft.
It's like we're burning.
yeah.
Okay.
Draft.
This is content. Yeah.
So American Beauty bat movie now.
Save it for when
No,
when
you
you
select
inevitably
number
pick
one
it
pick.
first.
Yeah,
Select
yeah.
number
Yeah.
one.
I'm just telling you, I'm not going to pick it. But
This
I,
might be-
I mean, you also
this might
say
be
that now,
gamesmanship.
and then like you don't know what's going to happen at pick 40.
You don't
if
know.
that's you.
I do.
Because some
I
things
don't trust you.
could. I mean, I guess you do, but
I've never
some things
trusted
could
you.
break in terms of there are certain categories with only so many movies,
For sure.
right?
Mhm.
And so, especially
Yes.
if people take those movies in other categories, then you might be up against the
It'll get
wall.
thin.
You know,
there is not a force on earth that will make me pick that movie.
Okay.
Scarcity is always an issue, but this year in particular,
Mm-hmm.
even though there are so many great films, there are a couple of categories that you got to attack aggressively. Any thoughts on why 99 was the way that it was?
I just think it has a lot of magic. I think you alluded to the part about the spoilers or the spoiler proof movies or the movies that like you basically had to go see to not have them ruined / also be part of like any kind of conversation. But even things that are pretty standard, really well done thrillers or dramas have like this aura to them still. Obviously, like Talented Mr. Ripley is an example of something that I've been thinking about a lot because Ripley's on Netflix. But just to watch those guys in full flight, just being like beautiful and perfect in that movie. Yeah, I feel like that runs through a lot of like the best movies of this year. I don't want to like rattle off a bunch and then give away, but like it's got a kind of like the fact that people who were 10 and people who were 20 during that year are just like, this is such a totemic year for me is really saying something.
It's like, it's also the confluence of like the careers. You still have a lot of the legacy stars that were around in the 80s and the 90s who are still in the twilight of their creative zenith, but they're still on the tail end of it, right? Some of those people are just reinventing. And then you have all of these new stars and new voices that are popping up. Like it's a reinvention year, not a reinvention year. It's like a second win year of Keanu Reeves, who you'd always known, but like he's here again. And then other people. And then, you know, Kevin Smith is in his bag doing something different. And then like what you said about The Talented Mr. Ripley, every time I see that movie, because I watch that movie a lot. It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Every time I see that movie, I think, wow, look how in their shit everyone is. Like everybody is perfectly cast. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Damon, Jude Law, everyone's right there. And that has to do a lot with where people are at their careers at the time. And it just doesn't happen all that often.
I think also when you look at the box office, like we look at Phantom Menace at the top of the box office, and Toy Story 2 is there, but there isn't a lot of, as someone who talks about franchising for a living, this is the very end before we really start hitting the franchise taking over. Spider-Man starts soon after. Lord of the Rings comes out, blah, blah. And then we are in our franchise trilogy era. You know, The Matrix is on there, but like we didn't know The Matrix was going to be what it became, et cetera. And so that, you know, you have something like The Mummy or something, you know, where it just feels like so special and of its time. And yes, there were sequels, but let's just not talk about the Scorpion King. And let's just think about how this felt like distinct storytelling. Again, I love a franchise. Mallory and I talk about them a lot.
It's the period
like,
before The Maze Runner is what we kind of casually refer to it as.
Pre-Scorch Trials. We were prepping for the
That really
trials.
changed all of us, I think.
It's like we had the internet, but you're still almost, it's like the cusp, right?
Yeah.
So in it, like the Matrix like taught us about the internet. We were like, that seems interesting, but also maybe bad, but good.
Yeah.
Blair Witch also a huge part of like how the internet relates to movie going.
Dial up. How long did it take you to download all that porn back then?
I was waiting for it. You looked up at me and I was like, is he going to ask me something sincere?
Did you guys used to sit and like download the movie trailers from?
I would get clips. I would always try to get. I remember very vividly trying to download short clips,
get clips,
or some trailers of Reservoir Dogs. Very vividly, I remember the Tarantino movies. I remember there being like forums where you could get clips of the movies, and I was like, "Isn't it so cool that I have it on my computer and not on a VHS tape?" That's the other thing is like. Basically, this is the dawn of DVD. It's right around 97, 98, 99. I guess I probably started getting DVDs in 1999. But home entertainment was just a huge part of it. You said you saw most of these movies from Blockbuster Rentals. I'm sure that's true for me, too. I'm sure I saw a ton of... Yeah.
Not a Hollywood Video family?
No, the Blockbuster was right down the street. Yeah. So, and Elton John went there sometimes. So...
Damn.
Yeah. Wonderful. It was near his home in Atlanta. So you needed to go see Elton while you were renting a movie.
If you had the power, wealth, and success of Elton John, do you think you would still go to the video store or would you have someone do it for you?
Well, it was combined with the Tower Records. So he would hang out at the record store.
There was a Blockbuster Tower?
Or maybe they were right next to each other in the strip mall. But
I'm saying it in awe.
Like a combination
pizza
Taco Bell.
I do think it was like a free-flowing exchange of ideas because you could like spend a lot of time listening to the records and then go rent whatever movie.
How did that shared real estate impact the snack allotment at Blockbuster? That was really crucial, like making sure there's still room for fun dip at the register.
It was very, very large.
Okay.
I mean, it's Atlanta. You know, everything is suburban.
Great stuff.
Can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. Mal has notes even about who you were in 1999. Did you need a reminder of who you were?
I don't remember what grade I was in.
You're like,
I don't want to have to
do math.
I've never
Oh, God.
even seen this software
Then
before.
I got,
Like,
got
These are
draft
the
tracker,
podcasts that we covered on Rewatchables 99. You guys remember we had a whole podcast
Oh,
called
we did. We
Rewatchables
certainly did.
1999?
Yeah.
You know how many podcasts were a part
Mal,
of that
you
series?
did all of that work for this pod?
This is just
Yeah.
podcasts.
Have
it's
you
just a list
met
of
Mallory
podcasts that
Rubin?
exist. This is just a grid.
So
to-
you're just going to be writing everyone's
yeah, I do
picks?
have my rankings on another tab that you are not allowed to see.
Bill
but
did
I don't
this.
think
when
that
he
I will
drafted,
have-
he spent a lot of time just like quietly making his own record of what everyone
yeah,
drafted.
I don't
and
think
it was
that with
a little
the
intense.
handheld mic and no computers, I will actually be able to update this. So it's
Right.
really just here as like a comfort blanket.
For the listeners at home, virtually every Ringer podcast you listen to, the podcaster has their laptop open in front of them with notes and the ability to consult via the internet. We're doing things a little bit differently here today, in part because we're on video. Van, you've
Courses
prepared
will come
nothing.
out as they're ready.
Yeah, no, all vibes.
You know we're drafting 42 movies.
You know what the funny thing is though? Is like whenever I write something down, I feel like I have to remember it.
yeah.
You know, so like I'll write something down and then, you know, I'll go off on a tangent. But like if I write something down, I feel like I have to remember it. I'm just gonna feel my way through this. I was around, man. I was
You were out
fucking
there.
Yeah.
smelling the lilacs.
No, you weren't.
like-
No,
you
you
were
were
in a
pool
billiards
hall, a
hall.
dank
leaving for the
pool hall.
Matrix.
You had chalk
That
stains
was-
on all your
Explain what you were
t-shirts.
wearing, by the way. What does one wear to be an
Suspenders?
intramural?
Literally that
pool
outfit.
king?
Well, it wasn't this outfit, but
We
it,
didn't have dry fit like that.
But it
in
was-
the 90s,
there was
you
a
know?
point
the
where-
Before the
technologies weren't
athleisure
I
great.
was
boom.
wearing a lot of white tees
Okay.
and the chalk from the pool was
blue
getting all over my
shine.
white tees.
Mm.
And my mom started to get she was concerned. Like when I would come home, she's like, "What's this blue stuff?" All she saw was some kind of drug or something.
Right.
But I was chalking up, dip, 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 and then getting it all over my tees. You know what I mean?
I don't really think that's what it sounds like when you chalk
Yes,
up.
it does.
That's what it,
And then I had a brake cue,
It is a little.
and I
it
had
is
a
little
Miyuchi
squeaky.
cue. I saved up $350. Was all the money in the world to me to buy a special cue. 2 parts.
Do you have a case?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I just can't believe any of this.
it's like a 30% chance that this is completely made
I
up.
swear to
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Like it's all facts.
And you knew Dickie from Princeton. We get it. Like I understand what you're
I'm
doing.
telling you, it's fact.
Yeah.
It's all facts. There are people that are listening to this that right now they're going, "Yeah, Van was crazy." Because I would like we go somewhere and play, and I'd be like, "Yo, man, bring my cue," and then we doing my thing. Power player.
I feel like we should veer back to the draft
Sorry,
a little
I
bit.
apologize.
I think going with your heart is maybe not a bad strategy.
I agree.
I
For
like it
in
for
this
movies.
draft,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
you
many.
can prepare like Mallory.
I didn't really.
did.
It's a grid to fill out the picks. How are we supposed to remember what
You said that
movies
you
we're
have it. I
taking?
see the ranker tab. If you don't think I'm
Yeah,
going to be
but to,
peeking,
like, No.
Rob
It's
and
just to
I have
remember
a
the
gentleman's agreement that
movies.
we're not looking at each other's screen.
Absolutely not.
I'm not looking.
I
at
won't
Mal's
look at
screen.
your screen.
Here's the other thing. I'm just not going to lie today. I'm not going to
You're
pretend.
not gonna lie?
Remember-
So you won't say you
Okay.
saw Seabiscuit, for example.
I saw Seabiscuit.
I've
But
never
that
seen that
does
movie.
clearly indicate that you have lied in drafts past.
Does it?
Yes, about seeing Seabiscuit. That was
I've seen Seabiscuit. I've
Since
gone to
that
Garden
draft.
State
Can you
Park
remind
and
me
watched
what
horses.
I don't know what
Seabiscuit
happens
is
in that.
about?
I don't know what happens in
What
the movie.
happens in Seabiscuit? Chris, right?
Seabiscuit wins.
Wins what?
Yeah.
World War II.
Oh, was Warhorse the sequel to Seabiscuit? Seabiscuit 2: Warhorse?
It's
Okay.
not a written law that you need to have seen the movie that you're drafting. This will test the bounds in some ways because we've never drafted
I'm
so many
saying
movies.
to
So many
you,
movies.
I'm looking you in the eye, and there's a bunch of movies that I could draft that I will not because I did not like them. I'm drafting the movies that I liked.
I'm
Okay.
also going heart only. And I am curious. I was going to ask if you had a prediction if, like, perhaps counterintuitively, a year this rich and steeped in cinematic history, maybe there's actually more chaos and less consensus at the top because, like, we have so many picks. Perhaps everyone is just going to come in and be like, "This is what I have a fond memory of. I'm nostalgic about thing X."
I think everybody
Clear number
wants.
one movie
I think
here.
there's a solid 5 at the top.
There's
It's going to be
there's a
dicey.
there's
A draft
clear
order
number
is gonna
one
be
we
movie.
could
very
have
important.
a consensus top
It
2
is.
rounds. We
Yeah.
could have chaos by like pick 3.
I tend to
It's-
I tend to
it's
agree with
open.
Joanna that there are 5 films that are incredibly important because they have some flexibility in key categories that you're going to need. After that, I do think for the most part it'll be the personal free for all that you're describing.
Okay.
But that's the best thing. One of the great things about this year and in this era of movies, which we all love, is that they just made so many of them. In fact, when I was making the long list, I got a couple of movies wrong, which our friend Rob identified to me having the release dates wrong. And then last night, I got notes from not one, but 2 members of the House of R about one movie in particular that was missing that they both clocked
Oh, wow.
from my long list. which I thought was hilarious. And you would never guess if I gave you guys an hour what movie they both
Oh, now
noticed
I
I
know
was
what it is.
missing.
I love this.
Maybe I'll acknowledge it at the end if
Yeah.
it goes undrafted.
If I draft it.
It might get drafted. Okay. If this is the first time you're listening to a big picture draft, we draft from 6 categories. We do it snake style. We have a random draft order, which our producer Bobby Wagner will share with us imminently. The 6 categories in this draft, I'm just going to read them off for everyone listening at home, are drama, action, thriller, or horror, comedy, blockbuster, and this year the threshold is 100 million, and there are 21 films that are eligible.
100 million domestic.
100 million domestic, thank you. Oscar nominee, and our 6th and final category is wild card.
So action, thriller, horror.
Oh my God.
Writing with one.
Thank you for
comedy.
participating today, Van.
Yeah, hey, I'm here with you guys. Okay, cool. Comedy.
Oscar.
Films that feature all black cast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's your wild card category.
Yeah.
What would be better as a miniseries?
Van, what happens if I draft the wood first?
You know what happens. You know the place. You know how much you already mean to us. He just goes to the next fucking level.
What does Chris mean to the black community?
A lot.
Let's hear about it.
It's like we'll be on like a pod, and they'll be like, "Oh, yo, who's the guy to do the voice at the end where he acting like he the dude?" I'm like, "That's Chris. I fuck with him, bro. I fuck with him. He's
This is
like
huge for you.
you know, and then I say, you know what? He from Philly, and then they get it. It's
That's
the DNA of Meek Mill running through you.
You're such derision looking at me. He's from Philly.
Facts.
Is that the
I just hate Philly so much.
I mean, I can't really read that.
It's not great.
Not a great town.
Yeah.
Let's go to our producer, Bobby Wagner. Bob, you need to set a random draft order for us. Are you
Hi,
prepared to do
everyone.
that?
So nice to see all of you gathered in the same room. So lovely. You all look like you're having so much fun. And that was a compliment so that everybody will act very normal about this draft order when I share it.
How are you?
Going first
How are you
is
determining?
Amanda
No.
Dobbins.
Wow. He just said you're going
Oh, I am?
first.
Oh, good. Okay.
You just started. Whoa, that's so hilarious. You just started deriding what he was going to
I
do.
would like him to make the process transparent
I
to
feel like
everyone
we've
watching
swapped
and listening at home.
personalities today.
I agree.
Also, I think number one is a mixed bag, to be honest.
Ooh.
So.
It's never been a mixed bag in the history of the draft.
Boy. You do have to wait a long
time. The process was I went to random.org, which uses atmospheric noise to randomize a list that you put in there. I did clear my cookies in advance, as Amanda has requested
Thank
on
you,
multiple
Bobby.
occasions.
There we
and
go.
it turned out she is going first.
Okay.
Going second is Rob Mahoney.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Van Lathan will be going third, followed by Sean, Joanna, Mal, and Chris on
Wow.
the turn.
Chris on the
Chris
turn.
on the turn.
Chris on the turn.
Wow. There's a significant silence.
Okay.
What we need to do is vamp. This is what we do
I'm-
is we
I'm ready-
prepare.
I'm-
Amanda's ready to
I'm
go.
everyone pick
Mourning
it.
the
Do you want me to
top
start?
5 that I won't be able to
Do
Let's
you
do.
go.
want to read?
If it-
Do you want to read the order out one more time, or you want me to go?
Sean.
The order is Amanda, Rob, Van, me, Sean,
Joanna.
Joanna, Mallory, and Chris. So you're getting number 5, Joanna.
Okay.
You're
I was told there'd be no math, but okay.
You're you're still in your top 5 era. So everyone's got to pick 6 movies. It's going to seem like all fun and games until basically we get to the turn. And then we're going to get to the turn. Everybody's going to be like, why don't I have my movie that I want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is part of the fun, part of the chaos. I would encourage people, if a movie is taken from them that they care about, to scream about it, to make a big fuss.
You want all 7 of us to scream at once? Is that good for
if
the audio?
necessary. Well, 6, because one person will will
sit
be
in
getting what they
silence.
want.
I'm
Yeah.
so
Nod.
interested to
Yeah.
know what you're going to pick.
Yeah. Well, no,
I feel
it's
like I know.
interesting. I think you do too. It's interesting for me going first because I think that there's a very obvious number one pick
Yes.
for 6 people in this draft, and then there's my number one
Yeah,
pick.
I
And
know-
so I'm going to do it. In Oscar nominee, I will be taking the talented Mr. Ripley.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's my number
And-
one too.
Yeah,
I agree
and
with you.
you know, I that leaves Van's movie for Van, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for him to speak on that journey. This is
But what if Rob gets it?
well, then that's between Rob and Van,
Okay.
and I'm just going to talk about 1999's The Talented Mr. Ripley, directed by Anthony Minghella, which has been back in the news recently thanks to Netflix's Ripley, which is wonderful and very beautiful. And I think Andrew Scott might be one of the world's greatest living actors. Like, it's pretty amazing. But my heart is far too indebted to the original Talented Mr. Ripley. The colors, young Jude Law, young Gwyneth, young Matt Damon, young Cate Blanchett, young-ish Philip Seymour Hoffman. I mean, this was just one of these movies that I saw at a pretty young and impressionable age, and it like kind of unlocked a world. I mean, I guess of just murder, and not trusting anyone, but also beautiful people in Italy.
Who do you
making
most
bad
relate
decisions.
to? Which character in that film? James Redbone's character?
Yeah. A hard Gwyneth,
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be Gwyneth?
Talented Mr. Ripley, I think, is among those 5.
Yes.
That you were
Yeah,
referring to.
100%.
right?
And,
So
and that's
not
the
such
other
a
thing
wild
is that I
pick.
knew that if I didn't take it now, there was no chance
Yeah,
I was
it
going to
wouldn't
be
be there.
and I would be really upset. So
I think
Do you guys remember the scene where Matt Damon is dancing to the song,
yeah.
and then
And Jude Law comes in.
Yeah.
that is
Really?
the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened in a movie, man. I watch it all the time. What a great fucking movie of whites.
Jude Law as Dickie Greenleaf, I think, is one of the most like important casting moves that has
Oh my
ever
God. Flawless.
happened.
Crucial.
And the scene where he is like tan and golden and oiled on the beach, and then Matt Damon, a very handsome man, shows up looking a little pasty in his like lime green
Yeah.
trunks and just
Onesie,
looking
yeah.
so like wrong. And you had to cast Jude Law to make Matt Damon again a very handsome man look just like clumsy and awkward and wrong. And they did it. They crushed it.
How come you chose the oiled beach scene and not the scene where Jude Law stands up completely nude from a bathtub?
I left that for you, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Just
Very important moment.
just bros
in,
being dudes taking baths.
Yeah.
You know?
Movie history, a moment I cherish.
When's the last time you took a bath?
Me?
Yeah.
I love a bath.
Years ago. Yeah, I don't.
You don't
like
Chris
sit in
knows
your own
this, but
filth?
I take a bath. I do shower after because I don't consider baths to be like a source of hygiene and cleanliness,
Right.
just relaxation. And I put a little Bluetooth speaker next to me.
She listens
And I
to
listen
pods.
Listen to the watch. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Interesting.
We all
I do.
know this about you.
Really,
This
really
is-
set a scene.
That's getting into Talented Mr. Ripley territory.
This is an interesting pick for you, though, Amanda, because
Yeah.
part of my process preparing for this draft, I figured the big picture has to have an episode about the movies of 1999. And sure enough, Sean, Amanda, Chris, you guys talked about it in 2019, and you picked your 5 favorite movies from this year.
Wait, have
Right.
you been preparing for this podcast since then?
His
Yes.
whole life has led to this moment.
Because you did mention in the group chat, we all clocked it.
Mm.
You implied
Clocked it.
about a week ago that you had a Google Doc going that was
Several weeks old.
Yes.
several
Yeah.
weeks, and now we're
Yeah.
realizing maybe years
And
old
also,
at that
you
point.
listened far enough
I did.
in a big picture, in a
Are
different
you the
episode.
big pictures talented Mr. Ripley?
Yeah,
Perhaps?
to hear the bait that I threw out for you, and you
Yes.
took it,
Well
and,
planted.
and I respect it.
You
but
did
you're,
comb
you're
your hair
ready.
a little differently
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
But I mean, my main takeaway apparently is not that I can trust those rankings, but the 3 of you have become absolute maniacs. Like in 2019, you were very
We were nice to
politely
each other?
discussing your favorite
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah,
Well, we would also do something back then
Pre-Pando,
on those
baby.
episodes that we don't do anymore, which is like, if I knew Amanda was definitely going to take the Talented Mr. Ripley and put it on her list, I probably wouldn't put it on my list so that we could just talk about more movies
Yeah.
and would not pursue the conflict of, I'm doing it, no, I'm doing it, or whatever we would get into now. So I
You
don't
did
know
this
how.
as
Now you know
recently
what
as
good
2 weeks
podcasting
ago.
is.
we're kind. When it's
Yeah.
just you and me
With
making
your-
lists,
your-
I gave you
your
Michael
debut.
Clayton. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
exactly.
That's fine.
Directorial
did we do this?
debuts.
We did this for 2007 as well. I don't remember that.
Oh, I don't remember if we did it for 2007.
Oh, okay.
No. This was for our direct.
Oh, directorial
Director-
debuts. You're right.
feature
You're right.
debuts,
You're
yeah.
right. If
That
it is
was-
me
it
and
was
you,
very
but
sweet.
that was the 3 of us, right? Then that 1999 episode
Yes.
that you're
Yeah.
referring to. And it was still, it was pre-COVID.
It was early
And
days.
There is
that
pre-COVID and there's
pre-Rango?
post-COVID of the big picture.
Definitely. There's pre-Rango energy
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to change Rob's game in any way for me to tell you that he has been mainlining 1999 movies
This is true.
for weeks, ever since you asked us to do this.
I
I do my
homework.
I respect that.
The Vulture Cinema Grid game that I sent to you.
Yeah, Cinematrix. I play every day.
Rob and I play every day, and Rob's been just like throwing out the 99 Stone Cold
yeah.
classics for weeks now.
So do you feel like something fell into your lap here too? Do you feel torn at all?
I mean, I feel great
Yes.
about the order because if it had broken any other direction but Amanda,
Yeah.
I would not be in a position to right now. I will take The Matrix and
Obviously.
Blockbuster.
Obviously,
I thought that
Yeah.
was a lock. to
it's
be
like
number
it's
one.
had
Yeah.
to be
Well, I'm full of surprises.
now I get to draft with my heart, but
Well, in particular for Blockbuster, which is a complicated category in 1999, I wanted to get it off the board as quickly as possible. The Matrix is as good as it gets. One of the best action movies ever made in a great action movie year. And also, the stunt work is great. The choreography is amazing. There's so many memorable scenes and it's so watchable. It's also sneaky, it's an exposition masterpiece in The Matrix. Like the dojo scene between Keanu and Lawrence Fishburne that's just them explaining how the world works, and it's one of the most watchable things of 1999. So I feel great about getting The Matrix this early.
You know what the thing about The Matrix was? I had no clue what the movie was about when I went to go see it. Like zero clue.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really didn't know what it was about. It was a Siskel and Ebert deal where Siskel and Ebert were like, it's just a good movie. It's just like a good movie. Like, and
That was the whole review?
well, I mean, they were talking about, no, seriously, they were talking about the fact that the movie had some staying power at the box office. And it came back down to, it's just a good film that's very gripping. And when I went to see it, I was blown away by the depth, the conceptual depth of the movie and the technical execution of it. And I really don't think that I had ever felt that way in a movie before, and I don't think I felt that way since. Like just the depth of the concepts in the movie and what they were talking about, and just the newness of the execution of everything was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I rewatched it over the weekend and was similarly floored by it.
It's our superhero story. It's like our Superman. Like you watch it and you're like, I think I can fly.
That's a great way of describing it. I think I was surprised revisiting it, like what a mashup of different genres it was. I think in our heads we're like, this is the movie where Neo does kung fu, but that's not really what the first 40 minutes are. Not that
like
at
a
all.
William Gibson book.
It's just a noir movie.
Yeah.
You know,
It's more like Bound in the first 40
totally.
minutes or so.
And then there's
Part
an
of why it
entire
was the clear number one pick today, because it's such a dynamo in every category. But I love your pick.
Thank you.
I love it.
I'm happy. Everyone's
She's living
happy.
her truth.
Yeah.
She's
Do you-
living
do you
in
like
Dickie's
The
house,
Matrix?
eating
Yeah,
Dickie's
I
stuff.
really
course.
would have picked Ripley first. I promise.
I think
you.
that's completely defensible and
It's a great movie.
It's a good
I
pick.
thought there were
course, and
two
I think-
movies that might go on. One of them remains on the board, but I thought Matrix seemed as close to a lock maybe as we had. But I like the idea of Ripley at one.
I think there's at least one more that I think very reasonably could have gone number one. I wonder if Van will take it right now.
We'll
Do you-
see.
Expect so.
I saw on your phone. So, do you know what category?
Didn't we just say we're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to
It's
be looking
like
at
no
other people's
gentleman's
phones?
He flashed it in front of me. You know, what am I supposed to say?
I'm
How's
taking
it
it in the thriller one,
Okay,
whatever.
that's a good strategy.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Is coming off the board because it's fantastic.
Would have been my number one.
Fight
Same.
fucking Club.
I think.
Tyler Durden, the weirdness, the depth, the Brad Pitt at the peak of his powers, strong, beautiful, sinister, a sticky movie. Sticky. Like you put your hands on it and when you pull away, there's residue. Sticky film sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Like the
it-
fatty
we know what the
soap
residue
that they
is.
concoct.
Yeah, the soap, the
Special
burning, the
Yeah.
whole nine, just
Nope.
weirdo shit happening.
Yeah.
Ed Norton playing the straight man to a completely berserk Brad Pitt, Helena doing her thing. I love the movie. It sticks
What's
with
the
me.
movie about? Tell us what it's about.
To me?
Yeah.
Well, I think the movie is about two things. Obviously, it's about, I don't know, late stage capitalism and how that affects the journey of life. But it's also about confronting your delusions and who you are when you confront your delusions. The moment where you realize, I'm fucking crazy. I'm out here. I've been warped. Do you embrace it or do you, chase it off? And like, that's a central question with everyone when you realize you're starting to bend and turn to something. And sometimes you don't see it coming. And how that can affect other people. How your warped view of reality can set the template for how other people view reality and beat each other up and stuff. I just love it. Meatloaf was in that bitch. He had tits.
Yeah.
The whole nine.
Bob.
I love the movie.
Yeah, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of 1999.
Shut up, Chris.
I felt for sure if you two had the top pick, you'd take Fight Club.
I would have taken The Matrix, but this Fight Club is my favorite movie of the year. I think it was on that pod. that
I
we
believe
did.
so, yeah.
Is Fight Club better than The Matrix?
It's a great movie here, guys.
I think it just I think
No.
if you were 16 when Fight Club came out, it obviously was incredibly influential on an entire generation of kids who were like,
Yeah.
I'm a bad person, but at least I know I am.
Yeah.
You know, like that's sort of what the movie is about. Like I'm at least self-aware about my own flaws. I thought it was a
Changed
very
my
eloquent.
relationship to IKEA
Did it?
definitively.
Meaning you're more pro or anti now?
Anti.
You're anti.
Yeah.
Okay, but
No
so
particle
they're
board.
not sponsoring the watch. It's also just a feat of movie making. Like it doesn't look or feel like any other movie. Huge bomb at the time.
Mm.
Not a
Yeah.
successful film. not eligible in the box office category.
People did not go to see it.
That's why we should give
But
Ferrari
people
another
talked
chance.
about it.
Exactly.
You think Ferrari is this generation's Fight Club?
Wow.
It's an interesting take.
Ferrari was a fucking abomination.
Abomination?
Oh, boy.
I hated
No, we
Ferrari.
can-
Negotiate this
That's
some
a-
other time.
that's a clear out.
I'm up. I have a pick. I did one Fight Club. I was thinking about Fight Club, but I have a really good backup in a category that I think is a bit thin for my taste. That category is Blockbuster. In Blockbuster, I'll take M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense, which is also a masterpiece, an incredible film. I recently recounted on this pod the trailer that I saw at CinemaCon for the new M. Night Shyamalan film called Trap, coming out in August. And I was locked in when I saw the trailer. And I've been, frankly, kind of pretty locked into most of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. But this one also actually was spoiled for me in the same way it was spoiled for you. It was spoiled for me by a correspondent on The Daily Show who went on The Daily Show like a week after the movie came out and gave away the Bruce Willis twist. And I remember there being like an angry letter writing campain to this fellow.
Led by you? Correspondence? Yeah.
I mean, it certainly, I felt connected to
Dear
the
Rob
thoughts.
Riggle. God damn it.
This predated Rob Riggle for sure. I guess it was, would it have been in the Kilborn days? Who was the host in 99?
Oh, man.
No, Stewart was on.
Stewart was on in
Yeah.
99?
Yeah.
Then maybe it was Stewart. But yeah, that was a tough one. And yet I saw the movie and I still was blown away by
No,
it.
it's an interesting thing to see the movie when you know it.
Yeah.
It holds up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very rewatchable.
I had known the twist for years and years and years and years and years when I watched The Sixth Sense for the first time this weekend.
Whoa.
What?
Did you like it?
Because I don't
have a good
like
time?
scary movies,
She
as you
doesn't.
all
Oh my
know.
God, I keep forgetting that.
And I was
You
just
had
like,
never
I
seen The
cannot
Sixth
go into
Sense?
this draft without having seen The Sixth Sense. But like, will I sleep tonight? Adam and I really strategized like time of day to watch it so I could watch something after that would be fresher in my mind. Here's the thing: I was fine and it was dynamite.
Yeah, it's very good.
I was like,
Excellent
I wish I'd
movie.
seen
Was
this
there a
earlier
jump
in my
scare
life.
that got you, and was it little Marissa Cooper vomiting? soup?
I think I had actually seen most of the like, dude in the bedroom turns around and the back of his head is missing. Woman at the big school play, turns around and her half her face is burnt off. I had like seen all of that over the years. It was a fascinating experience to take this movie in knowing every single thing about it. Still loved it. Thought it was exceptional.
Just great craft. There was a reason why.
But I didn't want to pull
People are
a
like, this is the
Seabiscuit,
next
so I was
Spielberg,
like, I need to be prepared to draft this.
But
from a
it was
position of
such a pop cultural phenomenon. I mean, like, I See Dead People was a thing that we all like whispered to each other at school.
Yes.
So effectively, it was spoiled for like everyone.
everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What a time at
That's why I
school.
went 3 times over the weekend.
Gotta knock it out.
Okay. Joanna, you're next.
In Blockbuster, I only have one more like number 1 seed left, so I will be taking off the board The Mummy.
Banger.
Ooh, interesting.
99
Okay.
banger that has aged so well and become.
I was really nervous. My stomach dropped there, and then
and then you're fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
Phantom Menace still on the board.
yeah. Don't worry, that's waiting for you. The
Same. You'll
Happens
fight
in
me
Phantom
for it.
Menace.
You
Will
will
you tell
fight
me
me for it.
when you draft it? Will you just tell me?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Mummy, which was like that was a movie that I have such a visceral memory of seeing. The theater was so full opening night that we had to sit in like my friends. It was like a big group of us had to sit in the second row off the side, and we had the best time of our lives because we all thought it was going to be something we made fun of, and it just turned out to be amazing, and just like a fun like fine time at the movie theater. See it with the biggest crowd possible, and then it has been a movie that has only grown in like cultural estimation since. People love this movie with good cause. I think like Brendan Fraser doesn't win his Oscar if he's not in The Mummy. The Mummy has
Totally
been like,
agree.
a huge part
Totally
of his
agree.
legacy. So a bisexual awakening for a lot of people. It's got archaeology. It's got
Rachel Weisz, right?
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah,
It's got
that's important.
Crushing it.
my
Yeah.
wife.
John Hannah is really
Well,
funny.
you
It's
know,
got
mine too. I'm glad we share that.
She's elite.
yeah.
She's elite.
questionable cultural representation. It's got it all. It's
Yeah,
got
so
everything
it
you want
goes.
in a 1999
I
movie.
I do feel like there's a bit of a mid-generational divide with The Mummy, where there is incredible popularity. I love this movie, but I feel like for people, and I'm curious of y'all's opinion of this, it's just kind of another movie for a lot of people, another like action movie that came and went.
I've
but
never seen it.
never seen it.
No.
This is a touchstone for me, for sure.
Oh wow.
I saw it in theaters and liked it a lot. And I think it's very good. And I think I rewatched it before we talked about Fraser in the Oscars run. But I do think if there's a difference between seeing it when you're 16 or 17 or seeing it when you're like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And because it's a movie for kids, you know, I mean, it's a really, really good movie for kids. It's maybe like the best version of this kind of movie that you can make at the time. But
I have a different experience with it. It felt like for some reason that everybody loved it and it was the biggest, hugest thing for some reason.
Yeah, it felt like a sensation.
It was a huge hit.
Yeah.
But a sensation in the year of Blair Witch and The Sixth Sense, like those were huge
But it's a
in different
sensation
ways.
that's like, I think it's taken over like The Princess Bride as that
Yeah,
like, movie
yeah.
that everyone agrees is great.
That's a great comparison.
You know?
Yeah. It was number 8 that
I
year.
guess
at the
I'm still
box
Princess
office.
Bride generation.
Yeah,
That's
and me
sad.
too, mostly. But like, you know.
So right now,
We're all
4
aging.
of the top 8 movies at the box office have already been taken. The Sixth Sense which was number 2 at 293. The Matrix, which was at 171, and maybe just 3. And The Mummy at 155.
Oh boy.
Okay, Mal.
It's your turn.
All right.
Do you want some help?
No, I know what I'm gonna do. I will say so. I pick, and then Chris goes on the turn and picks twice, and then it's back to me.
That's correct.
And so I'm considering 2 things. I'm putting some stock in a decade of knowing Chris Ryan in terms of the choice I'm making, but it would be in what might come back to me then and be available on the next pick. But this would be the pick that I would take regardless. Despite the category scarcity of blockbuster, which would have been my inclination in the first round, I think you've all done beautifully. I will be selecting a comedy, and I will be selecting proudly and with joy in my heart one of the patron saint films of The Ringer, the company that we all work for, Office Space.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, I was really scared there for a second.
I had no idea where you were going.
I had
actually.
no idea what
and
she was
I,
about to
also,
say
and I
either.
just I
Office
can
Space-
see your spreadsheet, and it's like
I was
a
like,
lot of
Office Space is a
cross-outs.
wild pick, and I
Yeah.
love that for
Yeah.
you.
That's
Office
your first
Space.
pick. All right.
Yeah,
But it's
Comedy.
a top tier
One-
Star Wars not been
cinematic
taken?
Joanna, by the way.
Comedy. No, Phantom Menace is there.
Okay.
You're
So
welcome to take it if you'd like.
You're really counting on me. But go ahead and talk about Office
I thought you were going to be like,
it's
the
been
patron
a
saint,
while.
she's all that.
I would be delighted if I had the opportunities to select that film later in the draft. We'll see. We'll see what the next 5 to 7 hours of this shared experience.
I know.
We
I
have to
just
move a
realized
little bit more
We're not
quickly.
even
Yeah.
on.
We haven't finished one yet.
You know, I'll just say it's been a while since I have been invited to participate in a big pick movie draft, and I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob. No, I have been missing it terribly. It's so great to be here with you all today.
Not gonna
love
work here
you
anymore.
all.
Yeah.
I love you all. Yeah, you know, just I've been like Milton, sitting there thinking about my staplers, waiting for the callback, and
You
here
do
it
have
is
Milt
today.
energy.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I do sometimes remark to you all that I used to have a window view and I could see the squirrels and they were merry, but not anymore. You know, not anymore. I'm thrilled with this pick. I think this is a great film. It's a beloved film, and I think it hits some of those like trends and patterns you were noting earlier of the year, where like you have your big blockbuster movies, you have your Oscar winners, and then you kind of have the films that worked their way into the hearts of a generation and genuinely feel like they stood the test of time. They're movies that people love rewatching. They're movies that almost like proto memes, right? They
Yeah.
became like visual and quote shorthand for just like your friend groups, and that has carried then into from adolescence into adulthood, and it feels like a bridge across your life, and that's beautiful.
I have a related pocket theory about this movie because my wife and I were massive fans of this movie as well. But we were fans of it at 16 and 17 before we'd ever had a job in which we could identify with the struggles of the characters. And I think in a way it like kind of warded some people from a generation off of pursuing jobs like this or of landing in jobs like this because they so perfectly nail a few aspects of when you have a job at an Initech that having a raised consciousness about it, and also maybe observing our parents being miserable in some of their jobs.
The osmosis of the whole thing.
Yeah. That it like, and you know, obviously it was not a huge box office hit, but it is like a mega DVD movie. Like everybody owned this DVD and watched it over and over and over again, at least where I grew up. So it's a good pick. It's actually like, it is one of the signature movies of this year, but
For
you
sure.
never would have said that on January 1st, 2000, you know?
Right. But in 2024, on these green couches with 6 of my closest friends and colleagues,
It's the number 1 pick.
I have
really need you to be you and not pick the thing I want
Don't worry
coming
about
back
it.
to me.
You don't have to worry about that. Should I go?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You're up, Chris, with the final pick of
For
the first round.
Blockbuster,
Are you about to fuck me here?
I'm going to take Blair Witch Project.
Come on.
Blair Witch.
Talked about this before. I think I've drafted this like 3 times in
Not
draft
a movie
somehow.
I've seen.
It is one of the most singular movie-going experiences I've ever had in my life. Made me question my own reality. Definitely have never been to the woods around Maryland because of this.
Great state.
And
Some people didn't work in an office. You wouldn't go to the woods.
yeah, just like an incredible like shot from outside of Hollywood that like it didn't, I don't know if it changed Hollywood, but it was like one of those things where you're just like, man, anything can happen when you walk into the movie theater. Like,
I mean, it kicked off an era of
Viral
found
marketing.
footage,
Oh,
viral
yeah.
marketing.
Found
Yeah.
footage.
Right.
Shaky
Like the
cam
directors and the
bullshit.
stars did not necessarily
Right.
go on to like, make a huge imprint. But this movie did. And so pretty easy blockbuster pick for me here. This next one's a lot tougher. I guess I have to go with category scarcity, even though I'm tempted by some other stuff. But for Oscar, I will do The Insider.
Great
I,
movie.
Good one.
I suspected you would
Great
pick
movie.
this.
This movie is
Insider.
directed by Michael Mann, and it's about cigarettes. So,
True CR core
What
right
is its
here.
conclusion about cigarettes?
the jury's still out.
What do you think about the recently announced The Insider 2: In Time?
That's right. This movie fucking rocks. Every once in a while, I'll watch the Bruce McGill courtroom scene. Wipe that smoke off your face. Incredible. We were talking about like this sort of meeting point of several generations of acting and directing talent, and this is certainly one of them where you've got Pacino in his late 90s renaissance, but Russell Crowe like slingshotting into best movie star alive for 5 years. And doing it in this very unconventional, like puts on all this weight, ages up. Some people may watch this now and be like, that looks very fake, but at the moment it just seemed incredible. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with those two.
Speaking of Ferrari, there's a scene in which Russell Crowe is explaining to his daughter how lungs work that is like copy paste
Yeah.
in a way that I appreciate the lineage.
He
is what
has
I'm saying.
themes.
He does have
has
some themes.
Themes that he returns to.
This is the one 1999 movie that I hadn't seen that I felt like I had to see because it was like
Insider.
ringer core and
Did you like it?
yeah, I loved it.
It kicks
Wow,
ass.
I
Great
love
film.
it.
So
Christopher
good.
Plummer, come on.
Yeah.
Great film.
Such a great
Blair,
movie.
Blair Witch Project. I've never been more disappointed in the movie theater.
In a movie
What?
theater.
Yeah,
Okay.
Really?
Why?
because
Had the hype surged
the
already
hype
before you
had
saw it?
been so surged that I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the scariest thing I've ever seen before in my life. It's going to be crazy. And the final scene is actually very scary.
Incredibly.
The face
Like,
in the wall.
The
moment,
face in
yeah.
the wall, I was like, shit.
I think
Well, other than that, it was,
when they realize
White
that
kids
they've been
lost in the
going in
woods.
circles
yeah.
is the scariest thing to me. I mean, the end is incredible, but like if you've ever been in that situation, this is a pre-GPS world, like where you're like out there in the woods and you're just like, we've gone by this tree 3 times. Like that is so terrifying.
Do you remember how long it had been out when you saw it? Because that was a factor. The
Probably been a while
I think I
because
saw it
yeah.
opening. Yeah, yeah.
no, I didn't see it opening. It
opening,
probably
it
been a
was
while.
You were
where I
playing
s-
billiards.
like at my
Yeah, yeah,
local
yeah.
multiplex, it was pandemonium. It was a packed house,
Yeah.
and people were screaming
Well,
at the top
people
of
were
their lungs
saying
at
that
the
you were
ending.
gonna that people were going nuts and they were going crazy and all of that stuff, and we're still at the age where we go, oh my God, people are going insane because they saw this movie. Let's go see it. So it was the whole thing. And then I think by the time I saw it, they might have been on the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah, because
So-
like if you,
Right,
yeah,
right.
when you first walked
Yeah.
out of that movie theater, I was like, did I just watch those people die?
Right.
Like in
Yeah.
real
Right.
life.
Once Ben Stiller has
Which is
spoofed
just
it on
what
the
you
MTV
want,
Movie
right?
Awards, it's too late.
It's a no
It's
for
over,
me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I still, you and I were young. I saw it at home afterwards, and that
Mhm.
would have been after the promo.
Yeah.
And I was scared out of my
Yeah.
mind. Like, granted, I was like small, but
This was my insider or my sixth sense. I hadn't seen this movie until basically this month. And if you are on the fence about watching it, it kicks ass at
It's
home.
so good.
So good. It's so scary.
Really?
Put your phone down. It is a great experience. Don't listen to anything Van is saying on this podcast.
This is my most like visceral memory, literally, of seeing a 99 movie because I saw it. Someone gave me a white Sobe before. Don't do this before watching the shaky
Dude,
cam of Blair
Sobeys were
Witch.
dynamite. The
Sobe.
green tea
And
Sobe,
then we
that was
went-
just like,
Then we went to the
I
Chili's
haven't heard
after,
that
and I
word
got
in
sick
so
in the
long.
Chili's bathroom.
Oh my God.
Because of the shaky cam
You
from
got
Blair Witch
sick
Project.
in the Chili's bathroom.
Because of the
White
shaky cam
Sobe.
of a white Sobe and the shaky cam Blair Witch.
It's the title of your memoir.
Yeah.
Sick in the Chili's
bathroom.
bathroom.
The
what
Joanna
flavor
Robinson
was the
story.
white Sobe?
It was like coconut.
that's
Ugh.
not what you want.
I'm not familiar with this.
Oh, you never had
Yes.
Sobe?
You never
So
had a
disgusting.
Sobe?
It's so
Oh my
gross.
God.
So
Did you ever work
disgusting.
at a mall
That put
food
me off
court?
Sobe
No.
forever.
Right, Sobe was
Yeah.
disgusting.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
They would claim they were like,
Wonderful.
it's healthy, but it was,
was
It was
wild.
not.
Great stuff.
You're up.
Mallory, you're up.
Padawan.
I am honestly just absolutely thrilled
This
to
is a
know
Mallory
that
classic.
some things in life you can count on,
Yep.
right? Not a lot,
The boredom of
world
pod
is-
racing.
The world is full of disappointment and letdowns and the kinds of surprises that make you question, like, can you ever know another person? But every so often you have an experience like this where Chris Ryan has the chance in a thin category to take Toy Story 2 and doesn't because he hates animation and it makes
Wow.
it back to you. Run like the wind, bullseyes! I'm thrilled to be taking Toy Story 2 in Blockbuster. This is a genuine sensation. I can't even remember if this was before we started potting out in the bullpen earlier or during the preamble
Yeah.
of the actual pod.
We did do 1 hour of pod
When
before we started recording.
We talked about the fact that animated feature was not a part of the Oscars. I think that like is something that has impacted maybe the like awards lore around Toy Story 2, but this is a Pixar behemoth, right? When you mentioned franchises earlier, like here we are. I mean, Toy Story 2 comes out and you're like, will they miss?
Dan's just reading the list of Oscar nominees for this year right now.
Toy Story 2 actually.
No animated movies there.
Toy Story 2 did receive an Oscar nomination,
Yes.
right, for Best Original Song. So
And-
it is in there. I could have taken it in that category,
Homie,
but I
Randy.
did not.
Yeah.
I
No,
am
this one is Sarah
taking it-
McLachlan.
Oh, wow.
And that song, like, I know the Up is the devastation montage of choice for
Because
Pixar.
she loved me.
Because she loved, or
Yeah.
when she loved me.
Loved me.
That thing
I was
will-
hoping
that
it was
thing will
going to be
wreck
Arms
you.
of an Angel.
Tearjerkers. But
That was written for
Blockbuster
Pixar.
is a really thin
That's
category.
about Slinky Dog.
Toy Story is a genuine box office behemoth and still to this day a beloved classic in a franchise from a studio that has had staying power and matters. And, I just still remember like ending up at Al's Toy Barn and with the prospector and like thinking not only about the initial awe and perspective shift that the first Toy Story gave you in 95, right? But then like you go to Toy Story 2 and you think about people's ability, and sometimes the people are toys, right? But people's ability,
No.
I want you to listen to me, Chris,
Yeah.
and give animation a
I
chance.
mean, Amanda's head is about to explode, like spontaneously
About their
combust.
ability to learn
Like she's
new
bleeding
things.
from the
I'm
eyes.
thinking about how long it is to like pick
To
again.
learn
I'm
new
trying
things,
to remember
to
what happened
change,
in
to
Toy
grow.
Story 2.
Right? How many moons had passed since Woody and Buzz
Toy Story 2 is fine.
were sworn
I
rivals?
think it's the weakest Toy Story. movie.
Yeah.
And
I think so,
didn't-
too.
I have on other podcasts I've shared my
So
Toy
are
Story
you-
ranking, and
are
I will
you
not be doing
asserting-
so in the context of shaking this.
She knows it's the weakest Toy Story.
But
movie.
it is
Toy
a
Story 2 is okay.
blockbuster.
Toys are
It's pretty good.
It's good.
Well, I would
Kelsey
say
Grammer
Pixar
as the
is
prospector.
That's
a
true.
certain-
That's
Toys
true.
are
That's the
pretty
introduction of Jesse, right?
How many
Yeah.
how many actors on Toy Story do you think believe that Biden is actually president?
Have we gotten Joan
Not-
Cusack's
not
take
in
on
this-
it?
Is this a
Today's
John
exercise.
Ratzenberger burn? Or like,
not
who are we
germane to
burning?
today's exercise.
And
I'm thrilled
The
with the
Rock?
pick.
Tim Allen.
Oh, Tim Allen.
Tim-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I had Toy Story at 3 in Blockbuster, and I did not think landing the 6th pick.
Did you think I was going
Not
to take
going
Toy
with-
Story?
Blockbuster
I-
is getting
Like
thinner.
I said, yeah. I
So if you
counted
don't
on
have
not
your
doing it.
Blockbuster,
Great stuff.
we've had
in a
quite a
thin
few picks in that
category.
category.
I'm elated.
Joanna, you're up next.
Also getting quite thin, I would say, is the Oscar category. So
Yeah.
I am taking off the board Magnolia
God damn it.
because it was not going to be there
No.
if I didn't. We were talking about this a little bit in our pre-pod, whatever. This is I still own this VHS. It's a double VHS box set for Magnolia.
Where's the cut?
um,
Like, what is the intermission?
Great
That's
question.
good. I don't know. Actually, that's a great question.
Okay. Then you haven't
Pre-Amy
watched
Man
enough.
sing along, I would think.
Well,
trying to
it's,
think
it's
of-
just like been a while since I've loaded up the old VHSs, but I have them as like a
It's a valid
nostalgia
point, Yeah.
factor. But this is just like a huge. It's just a wonderful movie, a huge cruise moment in the
Mhm.
culture. My favorite Philip Seymour Hoffman performance ever. My favorite Julianne Moore performance ever.
Don't call me lady.
An incredible. And then I had my freshman year of college. I had probably like the nastiest, worst breakup of my life. The Magnolia soundtrack for your breakup.
Healing?
Is exactly what
Powerful.
you want. You want
Ooh.
Amy Mann singing very sad songs, and then Supertramp is there. So yeah, Magnolia, classic.
Incredible movie.
Sean's doing the smile right now where he's like
Yeah.
a
In
little
pain.
upset.
You look like the
It's
Joker.
not
I had it at the
yeah.
top of like 4
Sure.
different categories on this.
Magnolia.
What is more on brand than all
Great
7
film.
of us coming together to cause you pain in
I
this
know,
moment?
I
You know,
Right.
Well, it happens, Magnolia is a wonderful movie. More and more people are saying every day that it was misunderstood and it is getting its flowers. And I'm just really happy about that.
it does suck. We're never getting this cruise again.
No, we are.
Are we?
We are. It's going to happen. I feel strongly.
He's not locked in the mind palace.
No.
Nah, he
you
has
know,
to do it.
He is
Yeah.
going to, once he is physically atrophied enough, He's going to
Once he stopped
return.
killing
Did they
himself
finish
for our
making
amusement.
the second Dead Reckoning?
It's in production.
So he
at the
could
moment.
die on that, and we never get it.
That's true.
I guess that's in play.
He could jump from.
Something to
He
think
could do
about.
the Red Bull like jump from the moon.
I mean,
jump.
you could die during this pod, but
Yeah.
we don't talk that way. You know, let's not talk that way about Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's magnificent in Magnolia. Boy, that was definitely that was at the
Yeah.
top of my
I
Oscar
considered
nominee at
picking that
least.
as well.
You know, another movie that at the time everybody was like, "Whoa, he reached way too far." That was too much, and he seems to be on a lot of cocaine. You know, that was the takeaway on that movie. I wonder, do young people like Magnolia?
How young?
If you're 19, are you like, I'm a huge fan of this?
Well, I think
It's a
if you're
great
like,
time for
yeah,
it,
I feel like
to be
Magnolia
honest.
is very of its time. Though.
Yeah.
probably, but like I think if you're like a completist, you would watch it.
Yeah.
And if you're a real cinephile and you're voting and you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, I value Magnolia. Joanna really made a great move there.
Do you think is it as good as Toy Story 2 though?
The jury's still out.
Blockbuster is a category,
the
guys. I
voters
didn't make
will
the
We're,
rules.
we're
decide.
still waiting for Magnolia.
I didn't make the
too.
rules.
All right, I have a pick.
When someone's picking Big
got-
Daddy,
I got a ruling question, and I'm not going to be angry in either direction.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Famous
You're
last
not
word.
mad. You're actually out
Yeah.
laughing.
Don't put it. In
Don't
the
put in the
newspaper.
newspaper that I'm mad about this categorical concern.
Okay.
Is Eyes Wide Shut action, thriller, horror, or is
Yes.
it drama?
Both.
drama.
It's
yeah,
both.
it's
It's
all
both.
of
It can be
it.
both.
drama.
I have it in both.
It's definitely
It's
thriller.
absolutely thriller.
It's
thriller.
definitely a
both.
drama.
Are you going to stop him from taking
Just
it?
saying, it's
in-
definitely a drama.
But it's definitely a
It's a
thriller.
thriller.
It's
definitely
without.
both.
Of course,
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Certain
I'm-
scenes are thrilling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thriller.
Sidney Pollack just wearing suspenders.
That's thrilling to me.
Yeah.
That's
Fidelio?
To me, that is cinema.
Come on.
no, it is. I'm just fucking with
In action, thriller, horror, I'll be taking Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
So in
One piano note going for like 20 minutes of the movie.
Great pick.
I'm going to set the scene. In 1999, my summer job, I worked at a company.
Your soon-to-be
I'm
wife
scared- I'm
is nuzzled
scared
up
right
against
now.
you.
She's in the crook of my
The
arm.
nuzzle- thank you. The nuzzling word choice is going to stay with you
Yes.
as well. Thank you.
That is
Forever.
darling.
Think about me
It's
as
a
a
South
high
Park.
school romancer, you know, just
Why
the
aren't you
magical
putting
stuff.
a mask
I-
on to make this pick?
So in 1999, in the summer of 99, my friend Ryan and I were eagerly anticipating this movie, and we worked at the same job. We worked at a place called Advanced Tabco, which was like a factory warehouse for industrial tables, chairs, and sinks. So in the morning, we had to arrive at the job at 7 a.m. every day, and we would unload trucks for 4 hours. And then at 11 a.m., we would have lunch. And during lunch, this is what we would do every day, is we would read the New York Post in the break room, where there would inevitably be an update about what was going on in the production and release of the film Eyes Wide Shut. Because it was a very controversial movie.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley Kubrick just passed away in the spring of 1999 before the film was released. And this was the movie about Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman and the possible dissolution of their relationship. And also has like one of the most fucking ripping trailers ever, you know, with the Chris Isaac song. And you were like, what
Unbelievable.
is this? What are they doing with this? This was probably my most anticipated movie of that year, if I had to guess.
You little freak.
You were 17?
I turned
You
17 right when it
You
came out.
little
That's so
freak.
special.
You're watching this and Crash. Remember Crash with
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Cronenberg
Spader?
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
little. You,
But he's anticipating it because it's a Kubrick film.
It was,
you
yeah,
know,
it was,
like,
it was
it's
a
not-
collision. It was my guy Tom. It was Kubrick, and it was also like
yeah.
sounds like there's an orgy in this
Yeah,
movie.
it's
right.
freaky. You
Might,
can't
might need to
fool
go
me.
Yeah.
investigate
Big
this
moment
orgy.
for the nuzzler.
Oh my God.
That's gotta
Capital
stick.
M the nuzzler.
That's gotta
Okay.
stick.
Forever.
I walked myself into
There's
that
not
name.
enough
Yeah.
times in our current film going experience where we're like, there could be an orgy in this movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happened?
Like, how great would Oppenheimer have been?
There was one.
There
If
was
all
one.
those guys buttered
got-
up
they
and
got
just
the
did it,
yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah, I am become death. You know.
This is a very horny movie year. Like a
It
lot of
is.
the blockbusters
Oh,
are
yeah. Oh, yeah.
aggressively
Part of why it's
horny.
so memorable.
Eyes Wide Shut,
Horny-
obviously so.
Horny teen movie year.
Yes.
Horny
Yes.
teen movie year.
Unapologetically horny.
This is also like 2 Tom Cruise movies in a row. There's like multiple Julia Roberts movies. There's like all the big stars are making multiple big movies in 99.
Absolutely.
What a time to be alive.
It was what Van was saying, which was that like you were still getting a Clint Eastwood thriller
Yeah.
in this year, but also you had this class of people who were really kind of coming into their own.
Like
at the height
Rupert
of their
Everett was
powers.
top of his game and he would go on. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, he was. He made 3 movies this year, but you know.
Okay, who's next?
I think it's Van.
Van.
No?
Oh,
Van,
Van,
next.
and then
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I can't believe it took this
Can
long.
you fucking believe it?
Second
Can you believe
round?
that you got that?
Like, I'm sorry.
Did you think you were going to be able to get that on the
What
the
category?
second
I
pick?
did not. Blockbuster.
you're taking that away from 10-year-old Rob right
Yeah.
Oh,
now.
I'm very fine with it. It's
Yeah.
not good.
So but okay. So here's the thing.
What happens?
In the movie,
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of
wow.
Anakin's
Young Anakin.
Pod
racing.
Jake
Anakin
Lloyd.
Can I,
Skywalker.
can I
Child
interest
actor?
you in taxes on
Wait.
trading in space?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Trade
'Cause and
Federation.
there's like the
Oh, I see.
parliament or something.
Not yet.
This is a Senate.
Senate?
It's a
Oh,
deeply
Senate,
political
okay.
movie.
Trade
Okay,
Federation.
it's a deeply political movie. It cost me
Keira Knightley's here.
$200 to see the movie.
Did you buy a bootleg?
What do you
No,
mean?
I had to pay for the tires on somebody else's car so that they would give me a ride to Monroe. To
Good
see
thing
the
you had
film.
all those billiards winnings.
Exactly.
So like I had to pay for the tires. I was asked my homie John. Shout out John. I hope you straighten whatever your life, what you're doing now.
He's not
whatever.
listening.
Whatever he might be. And I'm like, yo, I
If
want
he's
to
listening
go.
to the big picture, his life worked out great.
Yeah. I want to go and see the movie in Monroe. We had to go to Monroe to see the movie, and he was like, I ain't got no tires for a whip. Like my shit is like fucked up. I need new tires. Boom, bought the tires. Bought the tires so he take me to see the movie. Was automatically disappointed when I got out of the film. It's terrible. But the more I've watched it, the more I've come to love and appreciate the film.
Amanda, have
Pretty
you
cool
heard
kids.
of Jar Jar Banks?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Did
That-
you watch episode 1?
No, I saw episode 3 in the theater with my dad. We just like played hooky one day and went to see it, and that was Natalie Portman in a lot of makeup,
Yes.
and
And he gets thrown
Hayden
in
Queen
the volcano.
Christensen.
Yeah.
Right?
Queen
Yeah.
He's
Padme.
a senator.
and
The
he
senator, yeah.
Yeah.
My
And-
people,
How dare
the
you.
Van Chancellor.
She's
This is a pro
senator.
Republic
By the-
podcast.
That's literally
Yeah.
a line she has in the second movie. She goes, I am a senator.
She's elected.
Long Island, yes.
But isn't it like trendy now?
Yeah, prequel
among-
kids.
yeah,
Prequel
there's
kids
a
have come back
reclamation.
and said-
For the
And-
third
but
one.
Rock
not,
generation.
really not for Phantom Menace that much.
More so than for
Some.
Attack of the Clones. I would
Well-
say Sith is like, this is an iconic movie.
Right.
Is you and
No.
McGregor in this
One.
one?
Sith
A
is a
great
good
one.
one. Sith is
Yes,
a
he is
legitimately
in this
good
one.
I
one.
Okay.
can't
Sith is
let
good.
This one does have an
Then Phantom
incredible
Menace.
battle at the end.
Then
The
Attack.
lightsaber fight at the end of this
And-
is
Very good.
Yes,
Dual
Dual
Fates,
Fates,
of
of
course.
course.
and
Dual
really,
Fates
and
is incredible.
really makes the
Wonderful.
movie worth watching.
It does.
It's the reason why, because when we first went to it was so different from other Star Wars films. And remember, if you're a Star Wars kid, there's no content besides the books since '83.
Yep.
Right.
And so the first 20 or 30 minutes are just wonder. And then about at the 35 mark, you're like, okay. what?
It's freaking boring for like an hour.
Yeah, and then you look and I'm like, yo, does this suck? And then
Yes,
you
very
leave the
special
movie,
movie.
you leave the movie on such a high
Yeah.
that you've conned yourself by the time you got
And
back to your
I
crib.
think the other thing about Phantom Menace that is like genuinely important is that for like certain children, say who were in middle school in the year of 1999, this was not only the first new Star Wars that I saw, it was the impetus for seeing the originals because they re-released the original trilogy
They did.
before Phantom Menace. So I have this like wonderful memory of my dad
Those are
taking me
The
to
specialists.
see,
upgraded,
to
yeah.
see the original trilogy, and then like you go right into Phantom Menace. Now seeing them that close together, in some ways, I think you had the really long wait, and then the painful response, and then you have the direct adjacency and a different kind of painful response. But it was a beautiful moment for nerds, like a beautiful moment for Star Wars fandom. You familiar with Darth Maul?
Spiky red things.
Yeah.
You love
Got
it.
Yeah.
it.
Crushed
She's
it.
got it.
Very
There we
good.
go.
Very
Great
good.
part.
Listen, I mean,
They
I
should
was
never have
alive
let
in
him talk.
1999. You couldn't escape this.
I
stuff.
just remember seeing this movie and being like, this is the official end of my youth. And thank God I will no longer be obligated to care about Star Wars.
Did you lose your virginity the
Now
night that
here
you
you
saw this?
are. Now here you are. Yeah.
My friend, I was a senior in high school. My guy friend slept overnight at the theater so that we would be like the first there the morning. They did a morning screening. We skipped our first like 3 periods of school senior year to go see Phantom Menace.
Morning Menace.
Yeah, and we were
Interesting.
like, and we were at a theater that was near Lucasfilm, so we were seeing it with like a bunch of people who had worked on the movie, and other than people clapping for themselves in the end credits, it was like you could hear a pin drop with the disappointment in this theater.
way to go, Brad!
They were like, and then we got to school, and all of our English teachers had also skipped the first few periods to go see Phantom Menace, and then we just spent the rest of the day shit talking it. It's a terrible movie.
You guys remember the poster? One of the
great
posters for this
poster. The
movie. It's
shadow.
still one of my
very
favorites.
good.
Little Anakin walking forward in the shadow of Vader.
Are you an angel?
great.
Oh God.
Are you an angel?
They were so bad. Like some of this, you just wonder how George lost it like that. But
This was your pick.
I know. Is it weird that like nobody has had a single good thing to say about this movie?
That's
true.
true.
I stand by what you said. The final 20 minutes, I was like,
That's
this is
not
rock and
true.
roll. Like, I
So,
loved it.
The movie redeems itself literally with the climax of the film. And I do think I've recontextualized my viewing of it as I've watched more stuff. A tonal change in Star Wars was needed. It didn't nail that, but I like the movie now.
Just saying,
more.
if you were real, you would have drafted Spy Who
A
Shagged Me.
tonal change.
Tonal change.
I thought you
was
said
on the board.
tonal
Will
change.
Sell the
I was
board.
like,
Rob,
well,
don't
what's
take
Spy
your
happening?
hand.
shagging time?
Don't take her
It
hand.
might be.
Honestly, I don't hate it. I don't hate
I
the
like Spy Who
Shag
Shagged Me.
Same.
Is it my pick?
It is your pick.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah. That would be a great pick here, honestly.
I can't do it again.
Yes, you can.
It just I'm taking Notting Hill in comedy.
There we
Fucking
go.
Yeah. That's the move, I think.
Should I get the first aid
Wow.
kit?
So you
or-
have Matrix
Funny.
and Notting Hill. I love this.
I feel great about that.
It's
I don't know if
told
I'm going to
you
be
the
allowed to
number one pick
participate
for
in
you
draft
is a little
Are
bit
you
of a
okay right
curse.
now?
it's bad enough that she was within touching
I know.
distance
Yeah.
of it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I was this close to a perfect
Wait, so
game.
is this specifically why you raised earlier, like the halcyon days where you guys were kind to each other and thoughtful and didn't want to rip each other's hearts out because you knew
That
you were
you were
moving
angry,
toward
yeah.
this
I'd say
moment where you were going to take
morning that
Notting
it
Hill
would
from
be
Amanda?
Funny to take something from Amanda.
I didn't say. I would never say that. I would never say something.
I do
like
think
that.
we're also in the zone now, though, where the big ones are Star Wars feels like the big ones going off the board now means we're all kind of getting into each other's shit a little bit.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So,
And I feel
200
comfortable doing
cigarettes
it
from me.
because
But
I
now
didn't.
you got to defend it. You
Yeah.
got to speak on
Yeah.
it.
I didn't want to share
What's
it until
important to
now, but
you?
I'm actually leaving the Ringer to write for Horse and Hound magazine. It's a big career pivot for me. I think it's going to go great. This movie is wonderful. It dares to wonder, what if Julia Roberts were Julia Roberts? I love that she's like this charming while being supremely mellow. She's so good in it. And this is my favorite Hugh, which is kind of dopey Hugh versus
Bumbling.
snobby Hugh. I like
Bumbling.
dopey is my favorite brand.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Never seen
Oh,
Notting
it's
Hill.
really good.
Yeah.
I think you would like it.
I don't fuck with shit like that.
But you
Like
love
what?
Have you ever
Working
said,
Girl.
I'm just
I
a
love
blank
Working
standing
Girl.
in front of
Yeah.
a blank asking them to love me?
There's something that happens with these, like those movies that come from England and they're
English movies, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But they're about love and stuff. And there's a disconnect.
It's
for me.
Richard Curtis for you.
You know?
Yeah, but the thing is
that
that
there's a
Julia
disconnect.
Roberts is American in this.
Yes.
So it's like it's bridging that.
It's not all
Alec
access.
Baldwin is also here.
So there was. I'll tell you what put me off about the movie,
You haven't seen it.
but there's something put me off about it. I'm aware of the movie.
Okay. all
Okay.
right.
So there was a. She went on, I think, David Letterman to promote the movie,
Mhm.
and she brought a clip with her.
Mm-hmm.
And the clip was of them being in bed together.
Yep.
But they were pulling up the sheets because they both had morning breath.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the movie?
Did you see this in a pool hall? Where did you see this episode of David
I
Letterman?
saw this David Letterman. It was too cute for me. If it's too cute, boom, out of there. I wasn't feeling
That's
it.
right before she says a very important line about, Rita Hayworth used to say they go to bed with Gilda, they wake up with me. And Gilda is one of her most famous roles, which is also the next line of dialogue from the movie because they don't expect most people to know that. But it's
Interesting.
about, how she can't. Are you a Julia Roberts person?
I do. I like her.
Yeah, then I think that you should check this out. I'll watch it
I
with
like
you.
Aaron
you say
She's
Brockovich.
unreal
Does
in
it
it.
feel plucky to you? Is that what you're
Little
saying?
pluck.
Well, a little pluck.
You're anti-pluck.
He doesn't pluck
Oh.
with pluck.
But
He
she's
hates pluck.
actually a little bitchy in this.
Is she?
Yes.
Because I like her with a little edge.
She's got a little edge.
Yeah.
She got a little edge.
She's
got
a
a little
stuck-up
edge.
movie star.
This is going to be a very long podcast if we have to convince Van to watch all the movies he hasn't seen.
I haven't seen Notting Hill. Never saw it.
Okay.
Put it on the list.
I'll watch it.
It's a dastardly selection by Rob, taking it away from Amanda, who has the next pick.
Next two
I have the
picks.
next two picks, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, Notting Hill and Blockbuster was going to be my next pick. I should have seen that coming. It's fine. It's like,
Blockbuster is a ride right now.
it is. And I'm sort of like, should I take a Blockbuster or should I just kind of keep doing my thing?
Mm.
Because the thing about Notting Hill and Blockbuster is that I, as always, was just kind of living in the Amanda zone. And there was like one pick in each category that I thought would be safe. and you guys could talk about Phantom Menace for whatever, and I could just do my thing. So
Well, life's cruel.
life is cruel, and this draft is cruel. And like I said, being number
A-plus
one,
fanfic, by
This
the
is
way.
incredible. I genuinely really respect this. I do.
so in my list, I mean, I guess I have to. Let's bring the energy back. Let's bring the passion back, because there is still, luckily, an Amanda Dobbins patented classic on the board.
Okay.
And it's in a category that's pretty thin.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
And so in action horror thriller,
8mm.
Oh,
I will be taking the Thomas Crown Affair,
Mm.
there
okay,
we
yeah, that's
go.
pretty
which is one of
That's a
That's a
sexy.
cla-
that's
that's-
that is
sexy.
and that
right
is
there.
like a
Yeah.
signature
sex
movie for
pot.
me. Yeah, people
Long drive to
Yeah.
get to the restaurant we all knew.
It's a sexy sound.
Drove around in circles, be like, "What do you want to? What do you want to eat? No, what do you want to eat?"
Everybody like applied.
one over Renee Russo.
But everyone
Yeah.
drank like Mal
Nothing else?
Rubin juice before the spot. They're like, let me just take you back to a time before there was men. But there was a feeling in the air that there would be a film, and that film would be called The Thomas Crown Affair.
This is
Sounds like
I
a
just
compelling
love this
movie.
If you haven't seen it, they have sex on the stairs. Renee Russo
Hot.
wears amazing clothes and also doesn't wear them equally well.
Very important.
Really
Yep.
good heists.
Love when
Yeah,
They
she's
love a
just
crash.
like,
They
I'm
crash
not
a
wearing
fancy
top.
boat.
Yep.
So that is some of the action. This is directed by John McTiernan. Speaking of action things, so that's good.
It's definitely the best Pierce Brosnan movie that came out this year.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
such a brat in it too. He's awesome.
It's his best Bond movie far and away, and it's
Yeah.
not a Bond movie.
You said you're taking this in
Action horror
thriller.
thriller.
Okay.
If I gave you the Thomas Crown offer, $10 million to give up this pick right now, would you do it?
What?
And I would get $10 million, or
You get
would
$10
I
million.
get Notting Hill?
Yeah.
You get $10 million
What-
and you put Thomas Crown back on the board.
You get 10 million big picture bucks
Girlier.
to spend on
Yeah,
pods.
yeah. All your
I
girlier.
mean, no, if you would like to put Notting Hill on the board,
Wow, you wouldn't do it for $10 million? Well,
you don't actually have $10
I was
million.
going to try to expense it.
Like
but-
if you were putting $10 million in front of me, sure. But in the reality of this
Surreal.
draft,
Sure.
no.
That's
Did
a
we
great day when
determine
I
how
get
many
that.
picks in, we'd be taking a bathroom break.
Yeah, we
after her second.
yeah. Let's
I
let's.
thought we were going to do it after 21.
We were gonna do after
After
21,
Well
but
done,
let's
3. Yeah.
Oh.
let's.
Oh, so in the middle of Chris's pick, we pause. Interesting. Okay. I like it.
Okay, Amanda, you've got another pick. You've got the Thomas Crown Affair and Amanda Classic.
So there are two moves that I could do here. I could do the sensible thing and pick a blockbuster that I'm not passionate about, but like it's probably practical to do, and I think Giggles over here will probably take it from me. Or
Which one of us
Is
is
that
Giggles?
Mallory?
Who's Giggles? I have no clue.
that's Mallory.
Mm.
So
Um,
it's Giggles abroad and the Nuzzler. Is
Yes,
that where
exactly.
we are right now?
That's,
Okay.
that's what we're doing.
I have a blockbuster.
You'll have one
already.
soon, don't
I guess
worry.
we're eligible in other categories then.
I could do something that would keep up the Amanda energy and would be important to me, but I think would like really screw over someone who I like a lot.
Did everyone get like
Rob
a
just
throat
Notting Hill
clearing
from
trank
you.
dart before this pod?
Yeah.
Just let me pick your movie.
Everyone.
Notting Hill from you. Why do you care about other people?
Someone was being unfairly lumped into.
What the fuck did you think would happen when you invited seven people to draft? He just took Notting Hill from me. My entire game is ruined. I'm pulling it together.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
talking
All
for
right. I got your
strategy.
back. I got your
You
back.
talked for 45 minutes about what fucking Fight Club meant to you and capitalism.
Well, we solved
didn't.
masculinity, though.
And so
Neither of those things
you
happened.
will sit down
Just
We live in a
I've been
society.
sitting.
and let me raise the narrative stakes of this podcast.
You gotta get
an
Amanda a
hour and
sandwich
20 minutes
immediately.
Wait, how is this raising the
Immediately.
narrative stakes?
This is what happens when we don't have food around.
That's honestly a problem.
I asked you to order some sandwiches and you didn't.
Well, I don't work for you, so
That's what you think. Okay. Oh, God. You know what?
Take Austin Powers. Just do it.
I'll take Austin Powers.
Okay,
And
so
we'll-
that-
But why is that
Whoa.
controversial? That's a huge
Quality
cultural,
film.
yeah, gigantic.
I love it very much.
Fat
It's a
bastard.
great-
Wait,
Yeah.
very
in
influential.
blockbuster or comedy?
Blockbuster.
Is that what you were talking about when you said you might take something from
Giggles?
Giggles?
Yes.
Austin Powers?
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay.
Okay. Great stuff.
Chris,
Hmm.
Van, Bill, and I are on a text chain together, and we talk about certain things, movies and things like that. And sometimes we talk
Certain
about.
things.
Wow.
Okay. So
You're making this sound
is,
much
like,
worse than it
allowed.
probably
This
is.
Sydney
Well,
Sweeney
content is
and
allowed.
we
also
we
this.
recently had a brief discussion about Heather Graham,
Yeah.
who is
Very
the
important.
star of The Spy Who Shagged Me.
I would just
Yeah.
like to say I'm not on that group chat, but I am on a number of other group texts with you guys where you also routinely mention
Heather Graham.
Yeah, she's 54 years old.
yeah.
She's had a
Saw-
wonderful
This
career.
comes up a
Saw
lot
Heather
with you guys.
Graham in a restaurant last month.
Goes to restaurants a lot because I feel like a lot of people have a Heather Graham restaurant anecdotes.
Just seen her at a
So do
restaurant.
Just go to Pache.
I
She's
do
there.
too. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Like
Love Pache.
Really
amazing.
beautiful, very,
Very
good,
nice
very
lady.
funny in Austin Powers.
Felicity Shagwell. Shall we shag now or shag later?
Great stuff, honestly. Poetry.
One of the funniest things, like everybody was doing the Austin Powers voice when Austin Powers came out, obviously. Like, yeah, baby. But just doing lines from the movie
That-
in your
that's
normal
your-
voice.
You can do
Yeah.
better, Sean. You can do better.
Wait a minute.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing
That's
the
it.
voice.
Wait,
Yeah.
that was your
Baby.
Austin Powers
You
right
can do
there?
Let's clip that.
Try
Put that on
harder.
social
Uh,
as soon
Sean,
as possible.
Sean also doesn't like movies from England.
I saw, speaking of Sydney Sweeney, a video.
I did that.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, did someone bring her
I saw
up?
an
You did.
Instagram
I did
reel. Incredible reel.
I'm really sorry.
It's Sydney Sweeney crying in the bathroom mirror, and it's also layered over it is Borat voice, and the caption is me overhearing my husband practice his Borat imitation in the shower when we're about to go out with all of my friends.
Did you send it to Phoebe?
Great content, yeah.
And
I
ask
did.
which of her burners she used to post it. Yeah.
That's really good.
All right, Rob, you've got the next pick.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
I'm thrilled. I'm going to put on my pick flick button and I'm going to take election in
Okay.
Oscar.
God damn.
I'm bummed.
What a bullet in Sean's head.
Man, I've just been
That's a great
getting
pick, Rob.
okey doked.
Incredible movie. Honestly, might be the best movie this year. But I felt I
Well,
needed
that's
to
not
Definitely not.
Bold call.
You were doing well.
Bold
But-
call.
Look, all that matters to me is I'm getting what I consider to be the best movie this year with my third pick. So feeling very confident, impeccably acted, hilarious movie. Honestly, has a lot more to say about suburban malaise than the most suburban malaise movies that we have yet to talk about from this year. I love this thing from top to bottom.
Incredible Chris
a great
Pine performance.
So good.
It's a-
He's so
Not-
really
his
funny.
one and only.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
a,
One and only
not
good
a thought in
performance.
his
Right.
head in this movie,
Correct.
and he's
Yeah.
so funny.
so good.
Oh, Hell or High Water, no love.
That's Chris Pine.
Chris
Chris
Pine.
Pine. I thought you said Chris Pine.
No, Chris
Chris
Klein.
Klein.
Chris Klein.
Yeah.
American Pie.
Never seen Election.
Never seen
Is it my turn?
You're up, man.
Killing me, Van.
You know what the problem is? Is that I can do whatever I want because no one is going to draft the movies that I'm going to draft now because I'm so drafting from my heart
Mm-hmm.
that I don't really have to think about anything else now.
If that was the case, you
God.
would have drafted already.
Comedy. Varsity Blues.
Ah.
I was wondering what
I
what
wasn't going to take that this
genre
high,
this
but I was
movie
really
is.
hoping to get this later.
I think comedy works.
Yeah.
I think drama
It is
works.
funny.
I don't want
Yeah,
I
it was
also think
dramatic.
it could be an
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
Oh,
movie.
this is the year for I
this got a
don't
little
want
bit of
your
a
life.
stretch.
I don't want
No,
your
it's
life.
not. Why?
So many.
You don't think sports movies can be action movies?
They can be.
You
I'm
don't
not sure
think
if
this
they
works
can.
as comedy?
No, I think it does.
Yeah. Comedy, Varsity Blues. I just,
I had this.
besides The Matrix,
Comedy.
this was my favorite movie of that year.
Wow.
This
just,
is a great
just
film.
not it wasn't the best, but besides The Matrix, it's the movie from that year that I watched the most. I just really related to it at that time in my life. Like super duper loved it. All my friends loved it. I watched the shit out of it. I would be untrue to myself if I didn't come away with
Were you
Varsity
pro
Blues.
Vanderbeek?
Were you a mock?
Very, very, very pro.
Were you a
John
Dawson's
Johnson.
fan?
Yeah.
I never watched
You
the
didn't go to
second
the
of
Greek?
it.
Oh,
wow.
Never
Okay.
watched the second of
That was
John.
important.
Seeing him
What
in
about
this
John
after
Voight?
watching Dawson's Creek was like
I've never watched the second
What
of
category did you put that in?
it. It's comedy.
comedy.
I'll tell you a quick story about Varsity
Oh,
Blues.
Christ.
Is it? Does it involve the Nuzzler seeing his first whipped cream
No.
bikini?
This is about college.
No? Okay,
First
sad.
week of college.
But has Ali
um,
Larder ever shown up in that group chat?
No,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Should she?
Maybe we should.
We should.
Yeah.
We should
get her
think about
going
it.
next. Yeah.
Yeah.
I met a bunch of guys on my freshman dorm
Yeah,
room
you
floor, like you do. You make friends. These guys all had the same, I would say, mischievous sense of humor that I did. There was one guy who was among our friends named Dave, whose name Dave Weiss was his name, and we would call him Mox, and we would tell everyone that he was the inspiration for Moxley in Varsity Blues, and that everyone back home
Did
called
he wear
him
a
Mox.
very wide-legged jean?
No, I mean, he resembled Mox in zero ways. He did not play football. He was not a strapping man.
No accent.
Do you
no
ever-
accent. He was from Syracuse, New
Do you
York.
ever think you've
Oh,
had
yeah.
a
Go
unique
Q
experience in your
Stars.
life and then you find out you didn't? Because there were too many Chris's on my dorm floor, and so we called one of the Chris's Mox, and he was called Mox all through college.
But was it because he resembled Mox from?
No, he was like a
Varsity Blues?
lanky Asian dude,
Oh,
and we just called him Mox, and I could not tell you why, but I forgot his actual name for a couple years there because we only ever called him Mox or Mox.
I'm glad I conjured that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Am I up? No. Yes.
You are.
You are.
Gosh. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
This is where it gets kind of.
I've had a few beloved films taken from me. I guess an Oscar nominee I'll do Being John Malkovich.
God,
Yeah.
damn
It's a
it.
good one.
That's the move.
Absolute classic. Also one of the funniest movies from this year.
Definitely.
Also gave us Lost in Translation, so thank you.
It did. That's
This is
right.
getting dark.
Very correlated.
Here.
Thanks to Cameron Diaz's fine work in the film Being John Malkovich and whatever it inspired in Sofia Coppola. I think it's like a pretty signal gateway movie for this generation of people who are like, mainstream movies can be a little bit weird, can be different.
A little bit weird?
Can be very weird. The idea of this movie on paper is so confounding. And it doesn't really work if John Malkovich says no. But the fact that he was like, sure, I'll do it. And I'll be 100 versions of myself in a restaurant wearing dresses is magical. And this was the cool movie that got nominated at the Oscars this year too for Best Original Screenplay, Charlie Kaufman. So that's my pick.
I'm bummed.
I've been thinking about when you, Chris Ryan, read out Spike Jonze's filmography
Yeah.
during the Babylon podcast. Like, maybe the best to ever do it.
Because it was just like
Just all-
18 Jackass movies.
Yeah. And then,
And then
5 perfect
Be-
films.
Yeah, and
John
Weird
Malkovich.
Wild
Five
Things
absolute
are
masterpieces.
Okay. Who's next? Joanna, you're next.
I believe this can go in action, but you let me know. It is clearly a comedy, but can also be action. I'm picking Galaxy Quest.
Mm,
Good pick.
good movie.
I love this
I
movie.
love that movie.
That's a really good movie.
This is one of the rare movies I have on VHS and DVD.
It's
What happens
I think,
in that?
Oh, it's
It's a great
Amanda,
pitch.
you would
It's a
actually
great
love
pitch.
it.
Okay.
you would
would
really love
actually
it.
love it.
It's very funny.
Great Sigourney Weaver, great Alan
Oh,
Rickman.
okay.
Tim Allen's also there. It is a
Big Tim Allen.
parody of Star Trek.
Okay.
But what if the actors, the
Omnipresent.
washed up actors of an old Star Trek show, actually got sent to space because aliens in space think they're the
Thought
real
they were
heroes
the
from
crew.
their show.
Oh, okay.
And then
great.
Tony
I mean-
Shalhoub is one of the aliens, and it's great.
I like Sigourney in pretty
Yeah.
much everything. So.
Sigourney is great because and a great Sam Rockwell
Yes.
performance.
Stacked
It's
cast.
very,
honestly.
very
Yeah.
funny.
It's really really aged well. I think similar to The Mummy. This is one of those things that just sort of like everyone agrees is a good movie.
Was Galaxy Quest a big hit? I don't think so.
It was like a
Modest success.
Yeah.
modest
Yeah.
success, and then like really hit on VHS and
Yeah.
DVD.
Because I don't think there was a hook to get people to go watch it, but like once you didn't have to go to the theater to watch it, everyone watched it, and the movie's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love this movie. Great pick.
Okay, Mallory, you've got a pick.
I was hoping, I won't lie, that I could take Being John Malkovich in Oscar noms as you did, Sean. But I had a backup ready. It's here. And I'm going with my action thriller horror pick right now. And I'm genuinely delighted to pick one of my favorite movies of all time, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Really good.
Jesus.
Did you want it?
Yeah, I want it.
I don't think I've ever taken a pick from Chris before. This is a beautiful moment. I wish I could tell you how many times I watched this with my high school and college boyfriend. But the number does not exist. It's infinite, and
There's
that
no
also
limit
included,
to how many times a guy can watch
yeah,
this
we
movie.
would just
This movie
alternate between
kicks
this and
ass.
Snatch.
Yeah.
We would just watch them back
Yeah.
to back,
Yeah.
basically every day.
Can you
for
give him my
years.
number? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put you guys in touch. I'll put you guys in touch.
It's the perfect guy movie that also has really, really hot guys.
And
so,
it's directed by a guy named Guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Guy.
Like
A guy named Guy.
This
all
is
of those guys
appropriate. There's a new Guy Ritchie
so
movie this
beautiful.
week in theaters.
There you go.
There's always a new Guy
Yeah.
Ritchie.
The wit, like the violence, the intrigue, the wit, the hilarity. It's like one of those perfectly calibrated action heist movies that is like such a laugh to return to no matter how many times you see it. It just gets somehow like more enjoyable. You're never like, I know what joke is coming, or I know what face somebody is going to make, or I know who's about to get like violently murdered and torn apart. It's always wonderful. I really actually feel a little bit bad.
It's really
that
okay. This has actually been like a great draft because I feel like everybody has such personal taste, even though it's like this hugely monocultural year. So
We're
Yeah,
only
except
halfway through once you
I
take
just
your pick.
discovered
But
that
crucially,
Rob
we're
took-
only one pick away from our bathroom break.
Rob took Notting Hill in comedy and not blockbuster, which is that
Yeah.
now I'm disgusted.
Well, I already had the Matrix.
I understand that, but like now I'm actually angry. So personal
a delayed
preference
reaction.
only goes so far.
Lunch break could not
Go
come
ahead,
soon
Christopher.
enough, yeah.
Oh, should I do both of my picks or
Just
just
do
No,
one and
just
then we'll
one
take a
and then
break.
let's pause.
We'll be at the
We'll come
halfway
back.
point.
In drama,
Oh.
I am going to take Any Given Sunday.
Yeah.
I really have been thwarted over and over
We've now
again here.
screwed each other because
Yeah,
I was
man.
hoping to get this on the turn here.
I didn't have a huge drama list.
Great pick.
Boy.
But it doesn't matter
That
because
is
no
tough.
movie gets inside and I think it's really like when you think about like the Greek conception of drama.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. When you
Some
think
of
about that,
these
yeah.
could
yeah.
not have imagined what Al Pacino does with the halftime speech.
There you go.
Great pick.
Great Bill Bellamy performance.
For certain.
that's your second note.
That's a very, very weird second bullet point, but yeah.
No,
Okay.
Any
Bill was
Given
there.
Sunday is one of my favorite sports movies. I think in some ways it can be viewed as a comedy, but it is a drama
just
for me.
Want a van
Good sports
update? He
movie
just
year.
clicked on the letterbox link to 1999, so things are going
We
really
had some
good.
stuff.
So
Good sports movie.
I will be back with my next pick after this.
Okay, we're back. We've completed 21 of 42 picks. I would say most of the behemoths are off the board. This will probably be a slightly more personal back half, more esoteric. Chris Ryan, you have the first pick.
I will be picking in comedy. And I think that there's a little bit of this could go in multiple categories. In lots of ways, this was my Magnolia when it was released.
Here we go.
It's Go.
No. I was
Like-
like, that was the gamble I made. I was like, I
man.
don't think Go
I
is going
like
to get
this
past
pick.
the turn
I
with Chris.
saw
Yeah.
Magnolia and I was like, I gotta admit, not doing a ton of Class A drugs or having massive breakups or parting ways with a parent yet. So Go really spoke to me, you know? Katie Holmes spoke to me. Timothy Oliphant's neck tat spoke to me.
yeah.
Dirtbag Oliphant.
Scott Wolf.
Yes.
You know?
Scott
And
Wolf.
paired with
Love
Jay
Scott
Moore.
Wolf.
This was probably like, I guess, a little bit underrated because it wasn't Swingers, I guess, but is still like such a great rewatch. So many of these movies just still go so hard right now. Like if you put Blackstock, you put Go on Any Given Sunday, what a triple header.
Great way to
And that's
spend
just
an afternoon.
us two fucking chuckleheads sitting at the end of this couch.
That's what we're doing tonight.
So I'm going
giggles
Go,
and a
let's
Broadway.
slingshot it back
Standing
around.
invite.
Chris, why hasn't Go been released on Blu-ray? Can you answer that for
Oh
me?
my god!
Oh, I don't know, man.
You
It
were
has
the
not.
one who told us to stay on topic.
I do have it on DVD. Yeah.
I have it on DVD
Yeah.
too. It's time. It's time.
Do you think that like giving Go a new scan would like improve its cinematography?
I think it might improve its public reputation.
It's like
It's time for it to
like
be
digital
revived.
camera at certain
Yeah,
points.
it's-
in that
You were
movie.
more of a
Think-
Katie Holmes than a Sarah Polly.
Oh no, I was very much Sarah Polly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, she was very.
Jesse
she is very
Bradford?
special.
Shout out to both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Their
absolutely.
part
Side
of
of
this
me are
movie
two
is so
wolves.
great.
Katie and
The
Sarah.
rest of it can flag a little bit.
I think you could just cut out the entire Vegas part.
Yes.
Can't we
Just get rid of the Tay Diggs part, and then
Stop
you've got
it.
a solid 72-minute film.
release the Fennessey
Just
cut?
cut Tay out of it. What was my Sarah Polly? I'm thinking a different movie for her that I.
She's in like
Dawn of
5
the
movies
Dead.
this year.
She's
Dawn of the
crazy
Dead.
good in Dawn
Dawn
of
of
the
the,
Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I like her in Go. Go's great.
Sweet Hereafter.
Yeah.
If Zack Snyder had just like straight up moved into a Buddhist monastery the day after Dawn of the Dead came out, I would have been like, "That's our Scorsese
I
right
thought-
there."
You're not a Rebel Moon head? You're not really excited for Rebel Moon?
Part
Scargiver.
2, Scargiver.
Scargiver this Friday.
The Scar releasing, yeah,
on
guys.
the service.
don't-
Competing with Taylor Swift?
It's happening right now.
Are all 7 of us reconvening for that
Hey,
podcast?
Is it
You know what's funny?
Scargiver and
Scargiver
Taylor
watch
Swift?
Y'all
along.
as
talking
well?
shit.
Yeah,
That shit
Scargiver
did-
watch along.
That shit did numbers, bro.
No, it did not.
It did.
The first one, it's a massive failure, and now they're putting out a second one.
You're drinking the Snyder Kool-Aid. Do you also want the Snyder cut of Sucker Punch, which is something he threatened the internet with?
Did he
this
really?
Last week?
Sucker Punch was so fucking unwatchable,
It's the
bro.
worst.
I honestly
Like,
thought you were going to
can't-
say if Zack Snyder had cast Sarah Polly as Superman, then things might have been different.
Yeah,
but you
honestly.
didn't say that.
But with that, he made Dawn of the Dead a legitimately fantastic movie.
I love it.
And then went totally so different. Like
300.
300 comes out, it's totally so different. You ever wonder like what happens if some intern doesn't walk into his office, look at this technology, and then he spends like 5-10 years making shitty, weird
Yeah.
movies.
You think you'd be making The English Patient instead?
Maybe.
I think we'd
Yeah.
be like 5 movies
Great
into
movie.
Guardians of the Gahul, you know, like just like
That's
It's a fucking
possible.
owl movie.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
the owl movie.
If he had just kept making movies where people fought in malls, great genre, mall fights.
Mall fight movie.
You're just
Love
don't
a
burn
mall
a
fight.
future topic, please.
wow.
Okay, Mal, you're up.
Okay. I did just scan my
Oh my god.
tracker log to make sure I wasn't about to make a mistake and that this had not, in fact, been taken 2 rounds earlier where I thought it would be selected. I had this movie, maybe you guys all disagree. I'm genuinely curious. I had this movie ranked 9th overall on my total list.
Mel Kiper.
I am taking another child of Baltimore, so it tracks. The only bummer here is that I have to take it in wild card. I don't like going wild card this early, but I just simply cannot, in good faith and decency, leave this film on the board any longer. Can't take my eyes off of
This
you.
is what I was gonna
Why
take
is this
from-
here still? 10 Things I Hate About You.
Because
What are we all
Rob
doing?
Took fucking
Because
Notting
the
Hill
comedy-
in comedy, and so I had to get a blockbuster before things got bad.
Why are you
The
looking
comedy
into
category,
this?
couldn't
I
do
think the
10
comedy
things in
category
comedy.
is really
Yeah.
deep.
There's a lot of great.
This is
comedy.
a
very
top
deep.
10 overall movie for the year. I again, having to go with wild card in round 4, I don't love it from a draft tactics perspective, but it's worth it to be able to get this film here. I take it in wild card and I do so gladly. Where will I be when it's time for me to select my drama and Oscar nominee, guys? I don't know. We'll find out.
Your
together.
draft board is, I've never
You're
could have
gonna wind
predicted
up
in a
with-
million
It's
years.
very
You're gonna
chaotic.
draft
These are movies
Cider
that I
House Rules
genuinely
twice.
love.
I respect it.
It's possible. That's a movie I saw with
Wait,
my mom.
10
Boy, do I
Things,
have
Toy
some
Story
stories.
2, and what else?
Lock, Stock, and
Oh,
Two
Lock,
Smoking
Stock.
Barrels and Office Space.
An
Those
Office
are-
Space.
Dynamite
I mean, those are
movies.
good movies. I'm not
Well, I think
criticizing
all
the
of our
quality.
boards have Dynamite movies,
Dynamite movies.
except for Van's choice
I'm
of Phantom
feeling great.
Menace.
I actually
I-
genuinely
I
thought this
stand
would be a
by it.
second round pick, like for sure. I'm surprised it's here,
It was almost,
but I'm happy.
Comedy,
It was also
comedy
my
is just
third
like a
round
really deep category that I just didn't feel the
I
urgency.
agree. I agree.
When my son was born, I would try to sing him to sleep sometimes, but I realized that there aren't that many songs that I know like all of the words to, like a cappella, without singing them. You know,
Yeah.
like you can sing along.
Real
but-
Slim Shady #1.
from
What else?
Did you just start screaming at him instead? I'm shooting a nose spray
No,
ad tomorrow.
I
Kids,
knew every
do you like
single word of
violence?
"Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" because of this movie.
It's 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids.
I'm feeling great.
Also, that Part of Your World was the other one that I knew from memory, which was pretty. That was, but again, movie songs.
You
They
should
didn't
be where
print
the
on you
people are.
early.
Great song.
Okay.
I'm feeling
Joanna, you're up.
elated.
Oh. Well, I did want to take Go and 10 Things, so that's okay.
we
I
go.
am
What a nice draft of all of us praising each other's picks.
I still think comedy has a lot of options on the table, so I'm gonna bop over to drama
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna pick Three Kings.
God.
Oh, it's
Adam
good.
is going to be thrilled.
That hurts.
He's
That one
just
actually
begging
does
me to
hurt.
not let it get past round 2.
What is
Spike Jones.
happening in this draft to me?
Ice Cube.
You don't like that pick?
No, it's a great pick.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah.
it wounds him, as it wounds us all.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful pick.
Clooney.
I always get being next to
Wahlberg.
Joanna is tough because we have secret shadow taste, and
Apparently, so do Chris and I today.
I know.
Real twist.
yeah. Well, you were devastated by the Toy Story 2 pick.
I
Mal
still
really
think
wanted to
I've
go.
only ever
She left.
seen
I had to go on my
a
board.
scene from a Toy Story short,
hmm
and it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I can't believe people spend this much
If
time
you
watching this.
Was
watch-
it about like the first date, or that was an Inside Out short?
Oh,
When
no,
you-
that was an
do you-
Inside
do
Out.
you- Are you
Riley's first
saying
date,
that
yeah.
out loud just so the 4,000 white guys crying while masturbating while listening to this thinking of you? Like, just so they can
Yo,
get off?
how many
Like,
are
that's
doing-
the
how many
idea?
are doing
Illest
what
shit Sean
now?
has ever said. Like, like,
Yeah.
that's the
Only
illest
4,000?
4,000 guys.
Like, that's the illest shit
They
Sean
are
has
in
ever
a
said.
psychic mind meld where they are imagining using their open hand to behand another man,
That's the illest shit Sean has ever said, man. For real.
Yeah.
and they're thinking
keep
of you, and they're
going.
waiting for you to
This sounds like
denigrate
a great Friday
animation.
night. Keep going.
Wow.
Just so many guys
Wow.
that look like you smiling as you deride the animated form of filmmaking.
If we showed you the sequence in Toy Story 3, not eligible for today's draft, when everyone holds hands as they're going down into the flaming
Who
trash
is
compactor
everyone?
pit,
Who
you
is
would
everyone?
Weep. You would weep.
Don't they all live though? They made like 5 of these.
It's good. Fair
Yes.
point.
I
Fair,
mean-
fair point.
Yes.
They do live.
I asked you if you saw something, and the response was one sentence with a period. I don't watch cartoons. Period. I'm like, shit. He's taking a
I've
stand.
listened up.
It's very
I've
clear
listened
on
up.
this
I'm
point.
open to the art form.
Oh, you
It's
watch
just-
Blue Eye
He
Samurai?
did
watched
watch
Blue
Blue
Eye
Eye Samurai,
Had
and
his
he was
mind
so
changed.
excited to tell Andy, and Andy was like,
I didn't like
I've
it.
been
Yeah,
waiting
that's
decades
what-
for this moment. I did not like this show. And Chris
That's
was like,
what
well,
all
I'll never
the
bother
animated
again.
heads said about the movie. Anyway,
In comedy, I'm taking South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. This is the origin
That's
story of
right.
Nuzzling.
Right.
This is where
You gotta do
What
it.
is
You gotta do it.
nostalgic
Yeah,
band,
it's
the
beautiful.
Nuzzler.
Have even the animated movie haters seen this movie?
Oh, sorry.
I think
I'm not
so.
an
No,
animation
you know
hater.
that.
I think so. I don't know whether I've seen it in full or whether I've seen it like in a college dorm room on Louis.
Okay.
But
Could have been your Oscar
counts.
nomination.
I
could.
still think South Park had
could've.
more to do with the end of record stores than Napster
How so?
because they
'cause
started
the
selling
toys.
South Park merch at the record store I worked at, and it was just like, this is it.
Yeah, that seems like a very personal
I
experience
had
that you're
to
grafting
sling
onto
poop
the end of
dolls
media.
to 13-year-olds instead of getting them into Fugazi.
Did you ever buy a Cartman doll?
No.
Never
If
never bought.
Amanda
You
ever
can
asked
still
me
get it for
to sing her child to sleep, I could sing all the lyrics to Uncle Fucker.
Uncle Fucker?
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go. What would Brian
Joanna,
Boitano do?
Yeah.
Sing them now. The floor is yours.
Blame
The
Canada?
floor is yours. Sing.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it seems
you can't
salty.
say it
Yeah.
and then not sing it.
Do we lose advertisers if we say you
It's-
shit-faced cockmaster
Yeah.
on this podcast?
Terrence and Phillip as a real-time satire of adults crying about how South Park is corroding our youth is an ingenious idea.
We broke Amanda.
That's for like a really bad but funny take, but just the image of him at Kim's with the poop doll.
It was Newbury Comics. It was Newbury Comics.
Newbury
One,
Comics.
one day, I was like high on Ritalin, talking to like a mom, being like,
High
"This
on
is what you have
Ritalin?
to get your kid into."
That's the real time capsule.
You did
right
that?
there. Yeah.
You upsold a
She
woman
came
a
in
poop
and
doll?
she was like, "I think my kid likes Limp Bizkit." I was like, "No, he does not. Here's what your kid likes." And I got her like 10 CDs, and I was just like
Astonishing.
out of my fucking mind. And
What
then they took
compelled
that
you
away
to
from
share
me.
this today? What compelled you to share this?
Did you just want to bring up Limp Bizkit to get back to Sean's imagery of a bunch of people
my kid likes
masturbating
Limp-
to
Yeah,
you?
that's the musical accompaniment for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you
Empire
do the 4,000 men holding hands listen to Nookie while listening to the pod?
While creating a Limp
like a
Bizkit?
double stereo situation?
Great.
South Park Bigger, Long, and Uncut holds up.
Great pick.
Really funny.
It's a very funny
It's
movie.
pretty funny. It's also 80 minutes long, which is magical.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I love it. Okay.
Annoyingly relevant, I would
Just-
say, even still.
Just enough time to, cement your relationship with your future wife.
That's beautiful.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. That's how I knew she was the gal for me. Okay. Who's up next?
Should we Joe?
Van?
Is it me?
It's Van.
Oh no, Joe's before you.
Yes.
Van's after.
Oh yeah. Arlington Road.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. The
I
terrorist next door.
What
On our-
category?
On
drama.
Drama.
our break, you were like hinting, I'm gonna make a big move next.
Well,
And
look,
This is
Tim
it.
Robbins in
Gun
this?
to my head, Arlington Road would never have been.
I would just not have thought that anybody would have drafted the movie. I am in love with the movie. I love deep descent into paranoia film. I love My Neighbor, but like the whole thing. Tim Robbins, sinister, tall, weird. Joan Cusack, super weird as well. Ending where the good guys lose. Love the movie. It's like just short of a prestige, really important film, but is a super taut drama thriller about this guy with all of this trauma and all of this shit going on that his neighbors are terrorists, are domestic terrorists.
Have you seen this one?
I have not.
Arlington Road. Love it.
Prescient film
Tim Robbins.
in some ways.
What happened? Yeah, for sure.
Nuclear
Our paranoia about our neighbors,
Yeah.
and terrorism on American soil.
Yep. Very, very, very pre 9/11 movie.
Okay. Amanda, you're up. No.
No,
Rob
Rob.
is
you're up.
Will he wound Amanda again?
Yeah, I mean, this-
Deeply not.
Or does he have someone else in his crosshairs? this
Deeply,
time?
deeply not. We're gonna get super
The
weird.
sniper.
I'm gonna take Existence
Mm.
in thriller,
Oh.
I've never
action
seen
horror
this.
thriller.
Love Existence.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Okay.
this.
Yeah, I had
The
strength.
goopy port.
This movie's way more of this movie is about buttholes than I was expecting.
Just a lot of goopy ports.
You know?
This is the other side of Jude Law.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh licking her finger and sticking it into his bioport.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about here.
Who among us?
Tough to see someone else living your dreams, as the meme goes, you know?
The weapons made from organic goopy things.
Yes.
It's the goopiest movie ever. I love it.
And it's a good kind of pairing with The Matrix for me. I like that as a double feature. A lot of pondering the meaning of life, of virtual existence,
Shoving stuff into stuff.
stuff into
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
What are we
Lot of
about here if
ports.
not
Can
that?
you, can you pronounce it and then spell it?
I believe it is pronounced existence,
Yes.
right?
Existence.
E capital X I S T E N capital Z.
Correct.
Correct. Nice shot, Rob.
Thank you.
Excellent movie. Amanda, you're up.
I have two. Why did you just lean forward?
Because I just can't wait for this.
Which category was that?
This is fine, unless I
action horror
lean
thriller.
again with you and poop dolls. I think this is just going to be a teen Amanda situation. I was a teenager in 1999. So in drama, I will be taking the stone cold classic Cruel Intentions.
Thank you.
Cue up the Counting Crows.
Get this far.
It
This
is
is the
shocking.
first time I feel like I should have drafted that.
That movie
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
That's a
movie
just
rules.
Unbelievable.
I was
Yeah.
praying it would make it back to me.
I should have drafted
without
that.
any
I'm
expectation
sorry.
that it would.
I think I've probably this is top 5 most seen movies of this year for me. And I don't even know if I had it on VHS, but I can't really imagine that all of it was allowed on cable, even in 1999.
No way.
You know, but that's okay. Very important.
What?
I
You
saw
mean like
this movie.
HBO?
No,
Hundreds of
like
times.
We
Oh,
didn't have-
basic
yeah,
cable.
yeah,
Oh,
basic
yeah,
cable.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
okay.
we didn't have HBO at my house. That's okay. And then in comedy, I did want 10 Things I Hate About You, but that's okay. So maybe in some ways this is truer to Amanda's spirit and heart. I'll be taking the
You always make it sound like you're drafting for someone named Amanda, which is right here.
Who you owe
true
a lot to.
Well, like not many people call me. I mean, I wouldn't say that my name is like used very much.
Yeah.
You're
I'd
Dobbins.
Dobbins or
Yeah, Mandy. We all call you Mandy.
right.
Yeah.
Amanda is like, I don't know if my parents like really landed the plane on that one, but so I would agree with you. Anyway, I'm going to take Dick, the
Okay.
1999 Kirsten Dunst, Michelle Williams.
I'm gonna take Dick.
Flip it.
Yeah,
There we
love,
go.
love to take Dick.
There we
Yeah.
go. An absolute classic.
Love
You guys
to
seen this
take
movie?
Dick.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
great.
The best
It's
Woodward
incredible.
and Bernstein ever in a
Will
movie.
Ferrell is playing Bob Woodward, and then well, you know what, man, I'm glad to bring you joy.
Speaking of the
I
Creek.
told you I picked Cruel Intentions first.
Speaking of
This
the
is-
Creek, let's talk about
Oh,
Dawson's
my
Creek
God, I'm
influence on this
13.
draft.
Yeah.
We've got Varsity Blues,
Yeah.
we've got Go, and now Michelle Williams joins the chat.
Yes.
Right,
with
but
Dick.
I mean, but like Kiki really
Oh, yeah,
steals
yeah.
the show,
Dunst
in this
checks
one.
in. Yeah.
and you know,
Johnson Jackson.
just a searing look into our government and journalism systems in the 70s in the United States.
Someone finally got it right.
Yeah,
Fave MTV generation movie.
it's very good, very
Yep.
funny.
Back to you, Rob. We're getting down to
Brass tacks.
Getting
last
down.
rounds here.
I'm gonna go in drama, a movie that completely caught me off guard when I watched it. I had not heard of this at all until preparing for this draft. I'm gonna take The Straight Story.
Oh,
David Lynch.
Richard Farnsworth.
David Lynch, presented by Walt Disney.
It was
Honestly,
Farnsworth got nominated.
Farnsworth
right?
got nominated.
I think it was like this was almost like made. This is like Oscar bait a little bit, right?
pretty Oscar baity.
Kinda.
But like one of the most beautiful movies I've seen. It will hit you so hard if you are a brother of a brother in particular. So right in my strike zone. The fact that he did not win Best Actor for this and that Spacey did, deeply wounding.
Van supported it. He thought it was the right move.
Yeah,
the right
what's
call.
your take on that?
I love American Beauty. Love it.
Still yours to pick
Oh.
with your next
Hey,
selection.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I know what movie I want next. I got all of the movies that I wanted. I know nobody will draft the other movie that I want. I got all the films that I wanted. So yeah. And I'm gonna get
Arlington Road.
You
No
didn't-
one snapped it away from him.
You didn't want The
So-
Straight Story?
Wait, what
Didn't want it.
category did you take Dick in?
Comedy.
But you already had. Did you not take Austin Powers as comedy?
I took that in
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That could have been Oscar, I think,
Apologies.
right? I think Best Makeup.
Could have been. It could have
The
been.
Spy Who Shagged Me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, The Spy Who Shagged my Oscar.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. So you've got The Straight Story.
Yeah, feel great about it.
Okay, getting interesting here.
So
Van,
who's
you
next?
taking American Beauty?
Van is up next.
Should be
I'm
Van
up
back.
next.
Yeah.
No, because I know I'll be able to get it. Wild card.
Will you? I still have to take
All
an
right.
Oscar nominee.
I don't give a fuck. Is wild card. Dogma.
This is the movie that Joanna and I both
Oh,
texted
okay.
Sean about.
Y'all are all
apparently
very
independent of each
transgressive.
other.
We get it.
This is a great movie.
Love Dogma.
Oh, what a great year for Alan Rickman. Galaxy Quest and
It's a
Dogma.
wonderful album.
Love Dogma.
Wonderful.
Probably not my favorite Kevin Smith movie, but probably the one I'm most connected to. Favorite Kevin Smith movie is one of his worst movies. It was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No, it's not the worst movie. I mean, it's not a bad movie.
What?
It's a great film.
You talking about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Jane Silent Bob as well.
I love
you know,
it.
Chris and I had long threatened the View Universe pod, and we've never done it. So if you want to participate, you're
would
invited.
I
love
support
to.
that.
I
Okay.
was
I really
like,
support that.
I was on them like I was on the MCU.
I mean,
It
same,
was my
yeah.
MCU.
Yeah.
Like,
He
all of-
applied all
But
of
then
the
you also
world
got your
building
idea.
ideas
And Dogma-
to his
got my
silly
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Dogma has only grown a mystique because you cannot stream it anywhere because of the rights, because of the it's like tangled up in Weinstein
Harvey, yeah.
rights.
Uh-huh.
And did you see Kevin Smith's April Fool's joke?
I did not.
That he was like, we're releasing like, you know,
A 4K
remastered
restoration,
version,
yeah.
a remastered version of
They should
Dogma.
do like
He's
the
like,
Gus
got
Van
him.
Sant Psycho thing where he just
Movie.
reshoots
Shot
it
for
shot for
shot.
shot.
Yeah, but bring back the original cast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get
Matt
Matt
but like
Damon back,
contemporary-
get Alanis back.
Alanis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although it would be pretty
Alanis
fun to
Morissette.
recast Dogma.
Yeah, well, we didn't need to do something with George Carlin because he's no longer with us,
And Alan
unfortunately.
Rickman.
Alan
Yeah,
Rickman's
and
there, too,
Rickman.
yeah.
Good
Kevin's
point.
But
version
Linda
has some legs.
Fiorentino is available.
Yeah.
But
Um,
it's like, also, kind of a heady movie for Kevin at that time. Like looking at he was going for, I think, something that audiences weren't really ready to accept for him.
I would
from him.
argue that he also was not ready to do that, but I loved that he tried it.
Fair enough.
Like kid raised Catholic in a suburban New Jersey neighborhood, grappling with the idea of what Catholicism means to him, but trying to make a broad kind of gross out sex comedy around that idea is really cool. Revisiting the movie doesn't quite have the same charm to me as the trilogy of movies that he made. You know,
Probably not.
the Clerks, Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
uh,
Chasing
Ch-
Amy
uh,
holds up very well, as we
Mallrats
know.
trilogy.
But I'll just
the ideas feel passe, but the movie is, I think, better.
I'll tell you something. Dogma, though, also, it is a perfect fuck your parents movie. Like your parents walk in and you're watching it. I'm like, oh, Dad, my Catholic father, come here, watch this. Watch these angels about to murder a whole fucking room of, watch.
Yeah.
Come here, look.
In the all the movie restaurant.
Yeah, the
people,
whole deal.
yeah.
Like, watch all of this. It's a perfect fuck your parents movie in 1999.
Chris, any thoughts
On Jay and Silent Bob or on Dogma?
on Dog? Well, you've already
Uh,
weighed
that
in on
was
Jay and
fine.
Silent Bob.
In this draft.
Or
Lemon
relationships
face.
with your parents, I guess.
This was
Where are you at on the Catholic Church these days?
after the first Omen and Immaculate, kind of dicey.
Okay, I'm up, right?
Yep.
In drama, I'll be taking the Limey.
Yeah.
Good
I'm gonna come
pick.
across the table and fuck you
Good
up. Right
pick.
now.
I can't
You
believe
can't
Chris
get
hasn't-
go and the line.
I can't
know.
believe the Limey is this low.
Yeah.
I am astonished.
This is probably waited too long. This is
Thought Chris might take this in the second
a
round.
Steven Soderbergh classic starring Terrence Stamp as a career criminal come to Los Angeles to figure out who killed his daughter.
Yeah, big girl dad movie.
I'm seeing it with new eyes.
Yeah. As a father of daughters, I love
Stamp
the
at his
Limey.
absolute
What does Stamp
manic
yell
best.
at this? What does he yell?
Tell them I'm
coming!
fucking coming. Also, like, great callback to Peter Fonda as this like scion of Los Angeles, the like god
All the
of
old
Hollywood,
footage.
living
Yeah.
in the hills, and that like pursuit of him at the end of the movie. Just a beautiful, cool, slick movie. Also, fun fact, features one of the greatest commentaries in movie history, where Lem Dobbs, the screenwriter of the movie, and Steven Soderbergh get into an actual fight during the audio commentary about a lot of what happened in the
Because Lem
making of
Dobbs
the
is
movie.
like, you did all this like dumb timeline shit
Yes.
to my perfect.
Why did you
screenplay.
fuck up my script? Very, very entertaining.
Oh, and they left it. I want to hear that.
Definitely worth your time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Limey. That's my pick.
Great pick.
Okay, Joanna, you're next.
I'm
Just need to
concerned.
double check that this.
I'm concerned that Joe is going to take what I'm hoping to take here.
I think I'm maybe, possibly, and with love and respect to you, possibly, I have to pick in wild card Iron Giant.
God damn it,
Yeah.
Joanna.
Yeah, that was on my
Fuck.
list too.
So emotional.
A
It really is.
perfect film.
It really is.
You mentioned that this is like a good year for animation. It is. There's still a freaking Miyazaki on the board, etc. But
Well, not for long.
um,
After you took Iron Giant from me.
but for me, it's Iron Giant. I just think this is a wonderful, perfect film, and especially if you never see Ready Player One, where Steven Spielberg forgot the whole point of Iron Giant is that he's not a weapon.
He's not a gun.
He's not.
He's not a gun. He makes it
And
very clear.
And then they made him a gun in Ready Player One. But anyway, Iron Giant. What an incredible film. Truly emotional. Great Harry Connick Jr. voice performance.
As like the
Art.
the jazzy artist
Yeah.
who
Who
uses
runs the
junk.
junkyard.
Yeah.
You guys.
I showed this to my daughter yesterday for the first time.
Oh, how'd it go?
It went very well. She was fascinated by the relationship between the boy and the giant, Hogarth, the boy.
Mhm. Okay.
But I had forgotten that the final 20 minutes just turns into a Cold War era like military shootout. Not exactly what I want to be showing a 2-year-old, like a lot of A lot of
But your daughter has like incredibly hot takes about like the characters who were actually the heroes of
by
stories.
far her favorite character in the film was Hogarth's mother.
Okay.
She was like, "Where
Jennifer
is the mom?
Aniston.
Yeah,
Where's
she
the mom?"
loved Jennifer
Yeah,
Aniston.
Jennifer
I get it.
Aniston. Yeah. And she's an important character, but I would say not in the top 2. Maybe
No.
not even in the top 4.
I'm on Letterboxd right now because I also need a wild card, and I see that you also showed her Sleeping Beauty recently.
Which she loved, but also was like, "Can we go back to the Prince? I would like to see the Prince."
Listen, Prince Philip is the best part of that movie.
But he
with
doesn't
love and respect to
do
Aurora.
anything.
He has a fine relationship with his horse.
Well, I mean, she's asleep.
He defies his father?
So
But she's
what are
only
you gonna
asleep
do?
for a very short period of time. You forget it's really only 15 minutes at the end of the movie.
The
when
real
she's asleep.
stars of the movie are the fairies.
I don't
actually.
remember.
The fairies are
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. The
And
red-
Maleficent.
Maleficent is very scary in that.
she is.
Then in the
But
real
when she
ones,
turns
not
into
so
the
much.
dragon,
Yeah.
that's tough. Okay, now you're up, Joanna. Oh, you got Iron Giant.
I did
so
get
now
Iron Giant. I'm
Mallory,
sorry, Mallory. I love you.
are you thinking Princess Mononoke?
I am, in fact, going to select Princess Mononoke by one of our true masters and geniuses, Miyazaki. It was Iron Giant or Princess Mononoke for me here. I thought Joe might take Iron Giant. She did, but I'm thrilled with my pick as well. You know, a number of us here on these couches recently when Boy and the Heron came out had an excuse to revisit many Miyazaki films and then pod together about them. This is just a absolutely exquisite movie. Gorgeous, dark, disturbing, but also heartening. It's a classic. I'm sure it's not one that Chris is familiar with, but the rest of us know its magic and its eternal pull, and I'm thrilled to have it here as my drama. It does pay me to not select For Love of the Game as my drama, so I hope that somebody else takes the opportunity, avails themselves of the opportunity before this draft is over to talk about Kevin Costner licking his glove and then getting a hand job on the massage table. Don't let me down.
Played your
Don't let
wild
me
card?
down. I took 10 things as my wild card.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not seen that movie. The one thing I wrote in my
Which
notes
one?
about it was, for the love of the game, this is the most Mallory coded shit I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Bill and I have done irrewatchables on that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. How many people listened to it? Couldn't tell you, but it was special for us.
It's a wildly boring film.
I did not select it, but I had to take
It's
the
the
opportunity
least
to
of
mention
all the
It's okay.
Costner baseball movies.
I've never
right?
understood it, but the people that love it love the fuck out
I
of it.
think we now understand why.
Yeah.
There is a passion
Very
for it.
specific appeal.
Anyone have some Miyazaki thoughts that they'd like to share?
I
How
don't.
about you?
I
No?
don't.
Okay.
You don't.
Uh,
Mononoke is great. Not one of my personal favorites, but I know it's a big favorite for
In
many
some
hardcore
ways,
fans.
It's one for me for sure.
It's
I mean, it's like
fantastic.
as good as big, epic fantasy storytelling gets, honestly.
It's a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Speaking of fantasy storytelling, let's go with 8mm.
Yeah, there it is. Who's fantasy?
The
For action
machine.
thriller.
Oh my god!
Shout out to the machine. Just incredible stuff. Nicolas Cage and Joaquin Phoenix. We did this also on Rewatchables. I bet also maybe not the highest rated one ever, but like it's still a great movie.
I'm just getting a note that actually was the highest rated episode of all time. So congratulations to all who participated
Suck
in the
it,
8mm
Yeah.
pod.
Okay. And then I have Wild Card. I believe that's it.
You don't want to say anything else about 8mm.
What I mean, it's a sexually depraved blockbuster. Like that's what we miss. We miss this as a country. Is like make the movie star watch snuff movies and then get revenge, and that was literally like what we had to watch in 1999.
Is 8mm the movie that broke Nick Cage and just make Nick Cage go, I want to make the weirdest
I think
shit?
I think
I like
a
the
lot of
theory.
things broke Nick Cage,
I think
but this
it's
is
Snake
definitely a harbinger of his erratic taste.
Right.
I think it was when he went into massive debt after buying dinosaur bones. That was
Yeah.
that was a challenging period.
Takes
for
a
him.
toll on a man.
Yeah.
What about the mausoleum in New Orleans?
That also that
Yeah.
was a factor. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's dope when guys are just like, I am a vampire. I need to.
Honestly, he's awesome. I have no notes on him as a person.
Nope.
He's doing it incredibly well for years. Actually, the last time we conferred was
Yeah.
Nick Cage Hall of Fame. Very
Nick Cage Hall of
controversial.
Fame.
One of the times.
Yeah. Maybe
Red Rock.
Yeah, I
Red
have your
Rock
back
one.
on that one.
Thank you.
On what?
On National Treasure.
No.
No, it's bad.
Yeah.
No.
That's a good movie.
No.
I,
No.
it
You
was
know what? Fuck you
absolutely
guys.
insane.
You mean to tell
it was
me-
one of the
so
dumbest things that's ever happened. in my
National
absence on
Treasure,
this
like,
podcast.
by the way, when I was in Philly for WrestleMania, I got all inspired by National Treasure, and I tried to find the National Treasure feeling in Philly.
Yeah, that stuff's in DC though.
Well, no, they were.
Well,
They
there's
go
a lot
to
of
they
stuff.
go to the Liberty
They
Bell.
do some
They
jet
go to the Liberty
setting.
They
Bell.
go to Philly.
They go to Philly National Treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
think
You
they
always
go to the
remember
Liberty
Why,
Bell.
are you,
I thought it was the
why are you trying to take
Constitution.
away Philadelphia's
Declaration of
role as like
Independence?
the original capital?
Yeah,
It's
Philly.
It's a
Yeah, what happened?
globetrotting,
They
and by
cucked out.
globetrotting I
They were
mean
like,
a
actually,
couple
whoa,
states.
DC, you take it.
Cooked
In
out.
New
Yeah.
England, Philly cucked out. They were like, we're the birthplace of America. And then they were like, actually, we're going to pass it off.
Like cucked out to DC.
Did they not?
Wow.
I have to go back to some of the texts.
It's in National Treasure 3, I think.
Oh, that story's dead. Moving
Wild
on.
card.
Mallory's just scrolling the Academy website right now. Just want to give people
Bleak.
It's fine. I've been on Wikipedia for
here's
the last
thing.
5
All
minutes.
of
You guys
every
wouldn't
Oscar
have
winner is still
besmirched-
here, as Sean predicted. It's just a question of whether I want to take any of them.
Wild
Like,
card.
Chris, you're up. Yeah.
It's supposed to be wild.
Okay.
You
And
just took
so-
8mm.
What's that? In wild card, I'm going to take Bowfinger.
Yeah.
All right. Not that
Uh,
crazy.
It is
Great one.
Heather Graham
so
back on
fucking
the
funny.
table.
Jeez, Heather
It was a
Graham.
big Heather Graham
Like she
year.
never
Now
left.
you think about
Yeah,
it too.
it was.
Yeah.
You
But
forgot your
this is
briefcase.
because I was thinking about it because of the Steve Martin documentary anyway, and this is one of my favorite Steve Martin performances, and just an absolutely hilarious movie that I feel like has not really gotten much of a revival for whatever reason, and a great send up of Hollywood.
Wasn't it poorly marketed? Wasn't Bowfinger a movie that they led you to believe was one thing, and then when you got there, it was a completely different thing, better than what it was like actually marketed to be?
so.
And I think it took away from the movie a little bit.
I think it was similar to a couple of movies we've talked about, like Galaxy Quest, where when it came out, people were like, okay. And then it came to home video, and people were like, this is my favorite movie. This
Yeah.
ever
Good,
happened.
yeah.
And people
Chubby
have a similar
Rain, man.
relationship with Chubby Rain. Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. What's scarier than that?
Okay. I'm up. As we all know, I have left Oscar nominee till the end. And Sean, when you said at the beginning, like a lot of the big headliners from that year's Academy Awards would go undrafted, I thought surely not. But I am, in fact, going to forgo selecting any of them in favor of a personal passion.
Okay.
If I have a chance in any podcast, doesn't even have to be a draft, doesn't have to be a big pick movie draft, to select anything involving Ralph Fiennes, I'll do it. And so for my Oscar nominee, I will be selecting with joy in my heart and fire in my loins, The End of the Affair.
The end of the affair.
Good pick. This was on my Oscar
I
list.
love this movie.
Yeah.
I love this book. It's a beautiful
Graham
and
Greene.
wrenching story, and it's an incredible Julianne Moore performance. Ralph Fiennes is, as always, just like sex given form. And this was also nominated, I believe, for cinematography, right, Sean? So we've got a
think that's
couple
right.
noms here. This is one of those movies when I think back, I often say on podcasts, and now Amanda and I are both like ratcheting up the frequency of how often we'll mention Witness until Bill lets us do a rewatchables on it. And so I've said before that Witness is the movie that taught me about sex, but this is like 1B. This
Interesting.
is up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore was always a fearless performer.
Yeah. Oh
That's-
yeah.
that's
Especially
one thing
here.
I can note.
She goes for it.
She's
Yeah.
unafraid.
I love this movie.
Since everyone has their Oscar nominee, is that right? Everyone has their Oscar nominee at this point.
I don't.
Oh.
You don't have your.
He's going to select American Beauty.
Well, why don't you do that then? And then I'll read off the Oscar winners from this year.
You're gonna.
Well,
but
why
but-
don't you?
Yeah, you have to
it's
draft.
your
It's
pick.
not
Yeah,
my-
it's not his
my-
pick yet.
Oh, it's Joanna's pick.
Oh, it's Joanna. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your pick, and then
Yes.
This is the one where I'm voting with my heart, not necessarily the most popular pick, but this is a perfect film. You cannot find it on streaming, much like Dogma, but it is drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
Just
So
watch this
good.
on a
Yeah.
plane.
It's an
This was
incredible movie. Again,
wild
great
card is
Kirsten
really
Dunst
fucked.
performance, the only good Denise Richards performance. Kirstie Alley going really for it. Ellen Barkin. This is a perfect movie. It's really, really funny. Dry as a bone. Really good.
I hadn't realized it's not available on streaming.
It's not.
But can you rent it?
no.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
Lost
going on
to time.
there?
But it was on a plane?
I flew Delta 2 weeks ago and I fired it up.
Wow.
I only made it through 40 minutes of it because my toddler was crying, but otherwise it was good. Enjoyed it. All right, so I have a wild card. Definitely plenty of movies left on the board that I like.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I think the most 1999 movie that I could take is Run Lola Run.
Extremely 1999.
Is this going to be the Sean? I'm going to name movies that I could take.
No, I'm taking Run
Oh,
Lola
okay.
Run. Tom Tickver's breakout
Mhm.
movie starring Franco Potente that is unlike any other movie I had seen up until that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
It was a movie about like a woman having a very short period of time to get an amount of money that her boyfriend owes gangsters, I believe is the premise.
Right.
But one of the cool things that the movie does is it shows you in a kind of choose your own adventure fashion what could happen if she does a certain thing in the telling of the story. So you see her go down one door and then it shows us what could happen if she chose to enter that door. And instead she pivots back and goes into another door. Very tight, like 80-minute movie, incredibly propulsive. 40% of it is just Franco Potente running. And
And
it's just
100%
thrilling.
of it is German techno.
So much techno, some Rammstein going on in there, but just like really fun, really like Euro independent, influencing the way that American action movies will look. In fact, Tom Tykwer and the Wachowskis, who made The Matrix this year, would go on to collaborate on movies in the future, and just a really, really fun movie. Like very similar to Go, very similar to a couple of other movies that had that same energy.
Obviously,
that kind of,
bled into Bourne.
right, that kind of madcap
And
handheld.
Alias.
Yeah.
But like that was one of those posters that like people would have to make a statement.
Yeah.
And also there's just like such an odd blend of there's animation sequences.
Mhm.
There's also this whole bit with Polaroids where you're like following the like fates of various people that she like bumps into, and whether or not she bumps into them or not, their entire fate changes and you see it via like a series of Polaroids. It's very fun. And
A movie
creative.
I didn't want to like,
But you did.
of course.
Yeah.
What won you over?
I don't know, it was just good. Like
It's engrossing.
it's
It
just
is
good.
incredibly
Yeah.
But
good.
it's a movie that like when you're sitting around and you're talking to the film bros from where you are, they go, dude, have you seen fucking Infernal Affairs? You go, no. And they go, dude, have you seen fucking Run Lola Run? I'm like, I'm not watching that shit. And then you get filled up with curiosity, and then you watch Infernal Affairs and Run Lola Run, and you go, fuck, these are good movies. But the Segan Lane Theater in Baton Rouge, I had to go see it. It's really good. Then she pops up in Bourne, and I'm like, oh, there you go.
Well, it's your turn to draft now.
American Beauty. Now, are
you kidding me?
Yeah, an Oscar.
No.
First of all,
Make the case.
watched the movie, touched by it when I was 19 or whenever it was that I saw the film. And I think because suburban angst and I just started to see my parents get to this point where that I'm at now, where they realize that their lives are pretty meaningless. You know what I mean? Like it's funny watching someone get to a point.
You're at that point now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's like.
Are you
No, I've just found meaning in my life on this pod.
with those 4,000 guys? Yeah.
Exactly. But no, and so when I watched the movie, like I could see, and obviously there's a lot of humpty-dumpty to it, and it's very fanciful in the way it tells the story. But I could see like the actual angst in the people. Like my parents are trying to build this brand new big house out in Zachary, and they think this is going to be the end of their lives, and it's going to make everything real. And then every sort of thing that they try to do is met with this little disappointment of not being fulfilled and doing what it is that they really don't do. So they start fucking around and doing all of this stuff. I like connected to the movie, like it, and it's
Can a movie be true and bad? I think is an interesting question
probably,
about this
but
movie.
like I don't see like so where's American Beauty bad? What am I missing? About
I have a follow-up
American
question
Beauty?
for you.
Sure.
To quote the philosopher Katy Perry, do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you feel like there's so much beauty in the world you could just burst?
But let me just ask, can I just ask?
But I'll be honest with you, all of that
That's
stuff.
good. You guys are
all of-
ready.
like,
That's a
all-
good one
like,
too.
All of that stuff is kind of to me supposed to be absurd. I think all of that stuff is supposed to be almost lampooning the sort of absurdity of the well-to-do white suburban person who doesn't face the same type of problems that maybe I faced in my youth and is making up meaning out of a plastic bag. And why somebody would think that's so profound. To me, the movie is like actually indicting that a little bit.
I think that's a very fair reading when you look at 6 Feet Under and True Blood and think about like what Alan Ball's point of view is. I think it's complicated by the fact that Sam Mendes is the opposite, that he makes a lot of movies that are incredibly emotionally like maudlin and overly sincere. And so you have this major clash of the two authors of the movie. And I tend to lean towards like Sam Mendes kind of grabbed control of that movie and showed us something that is not broadly satirical enough, that feels a little bit too close to like, man, it is hard to be 43 and to have 2.5 children and to want to have sex with a high school teenager. You know, like that's like it takes itself very, very seriously in a way that a lot of the Alan Ball stuff in the future doesn't. And that's why people hold that against
But
it.
then,
I
like
do.
I feel like Annette Bening's veers into like Annette Bening knows the correct tone of this movie.
And yet
Kevin
she doesn't
Spacey
win.
doesn't.
The only
Yeah,
one who does not
Annette
win.
does not win.
So, okay, with that in mind, let's just play a quick game. Can anyone name the 5 Best Picture nominees?
Cider House Rules.
Cider House Rules.
Green
Green
Mile.
Mile.
Green Mile.
American Beauty.
American Beauty.
The Hurricane? No.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
Sixth Sense.
Insider?
Insider.
The Insider.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the 5. Interesting 5 from this hallowed year. A few classics, a few completely forgettable movies.
Good night, you princes of New England. No one.
I mean,
Cider House Rules.
let's talk about Cider House Rules for 1 second. Assuming no one's going to take it with the last couple of picks here. Michael Caine, who won, who is of course a world historic treasure, did not need to win his 2nd Academy Award over Tom Cruise. I'm just going to put that out there.
Wild shit.
Or Jude Law.
Correct.
Or Jude Law, which is also bad, though not as is more defensible to me because Jude
Maybe
Law
if
was younger.
they had huffed laudanum in their movies, they would have won.
Also, Haley Joel Osment, I would have given it to over Michael Caine,
Sure. Yeah.
who's just doing avuncular Michael Caine things.
Totally.
That's
agree.
just the one that is stuck in my craw.
I don't
My
think
mom
the
took me to
Academy
see
was
that
ready to
movie at the
award
theaters.
Tom yet, and I don't know why.
They're still not.
I'm the Annette Bening losses.
Well, I
Go
mean,
on.
then we have to 25 years of
Do it
naiads,
again. Yeah.
and she's still not getting it.
It's
which
also
is
the
cruel.
first of 2 consecutive Hilary Swank Best Actress
Yeah.
Oscars as
Right.
well because she won for Boys
Did
Don't
she get
Cry.
nominated for that Mike Mills movie?
$1 Million Baby.
I don't
20th
know.
Century Women.
Yeah.
I don't
Love
think
that
so.
movie.
That's
Great
my
movie.
that's my favorite of hers.
Yeah.
She's
Great
very
movie.
good in it.
Of recent
Swank
times.
had a little thing, right?
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Boys Don't Cry the entire, I guess.
Haven't
People
talked
said
about
that-
Boys Don't Cry.
That might be okay if we don't.
I'm
I didn't revisit it.
trying to see if
Girl
there's
Interrupted this year.
Yeah.
Girl
Yeah.
Interrupted as well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Angelina
Girl.
Jolie won Best
Mhm.
Actress
That's right.
for or
We
Best
haven't
Supporting
talked
Actress.
about
Supporting
Mile,
actors,
yeah.
The Hurricane. There are 2 picks left still, so I guess we shouldn't just list
Let's
all
do
the
those
movies that
picks.
we
Rob,
have-
you've got a pick.
that we haven't
Yeah,
talked
I'm gonna
about.
take in wild card. I'm gonna take Perfect Blue. Have y'all seen this movie?
Oh yeah.
Non-animated
Satoshi Kon.
people definitely have not seen it.
So
I have
American
quite
Pie
literally
is
no
going
idea
to
what
go
you're talking about.
undrafted today.
I haven't picked yet.
Amanda can select it.
Amanda's got 1 pick left on the
Bandcamp.
board.
Let's not stomp on Satoshi Kon.
Come on.
I'm just astonished. Continue. Sorry.
Just maybe the most fucked up and scariest movie of this year about basically like a pop idol who tries to become an actress and gets stalked to the point of losing her fucking mind. Really creepy movie, really scary movie. Unfortunately, also very pertinent about stan culture in 2024. If you haven't seen this movie, you should definitely check it out. It's probably one of the scariest animated things you're going to find.
Okay, Amanda. Last pick.
You taking Big Daddy?
For a while there, I thought that Sofia Coppola had once said that Big Daddy was one of her favorite movies, but it's actually Daddy's Home. So I
tough.
didn't
Close.
revisit
Potato,
Big
potato,
Daddy.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah. Big Daddy is,
You're the best.
Your dedication to Sophia is amazing. That you were like,
well, listen, you got to work all the angles
Yeah.
in these things.
Yeah.
But
But didn't even take Virgin Suicides in
I
this
feel I
draft.
would
It's tough.
rewatch it. I would watch a remake of Big Daddy starring Chris Ryan and my son. I think that would be really, maybe that's just, most Saturday nights.
We could just
In this
Photoshop
story,
you
does
guys
that
into
mean that
the-
your husband dies? What are the circumstances
Well, I
of
mean,
Big
it's
Daddy?
fictional.
I forget. Okay.
So
He-
he would be acting.
He goes to he had sex with somebody in Toronto, and then he thinks that that's the mother
Is
of the
it
kid.
John Stewart?
John Stewart ends
It's
up
Jon
being the
Stewart.
father of the kid. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you're thinking of American Pie there, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm pro Big Daddy.
Okay.
Same.
I'm not anti Big Daddy. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to do The Best Man, which is a delightful, to me, very melodramatic, fun college reunion film featuring a stacked cast. And I think the Regina Hall debut
Functionally, if not
wow.
actually.
also
yeah.
sets up The Best Man holiday, which is the most I've cried at the movies in a very long time with my dad. That was one of the good Christmas theater experiences. Anyway, Best Man, underseen, I think.
Tay Diggs in this movie wrote writing "If I Did It," but about sleeping with his best friend's girlfriend.
Really,
really
He's
good.
wild.
Really good.
Such a great
Wow.
film.
We did it.
Honorable mentions?
I mean,
The Wood.
it is weird that no one drafted American Pie, right? Is it
Would
not
you like
strange?
to take American
No.
Pie right now and
An
wild card,
honorary
and I'll
pick?
take 10 things I hate
Nope.
about you from you?
I'm content. I am
Okay.
content with my choices. I'm
But
just surprised that no one
it's
picked
too
it.
highbrow. No one here at
The
the
tongue
big picture.
tornado is too highbrow.
No one here at the big picture is going to take a movie where the guy fucks the pie, even though everyone
No,
loved it.
that's
I took
not
8
true.
millimeter.
Not only,
Man,
not
you could've
only
picked
would
it.
somebody
Yeah, that's
take
not
the
my
movie where someone fucked the pie, they would compare it to like, oh, clearly inspired by Philip Roth's Portnoy's complaint. I fucked my family's dinner. That's how it would go. And that's what I would have said if I
There's
had
an
selected
entire 90-minute pod of me, Chris,
Yeah.
and Bill talking about the American Pie. I am not above American Pie.
Great
And
movie.
at the time, I was like, we
Cinema.
back. We
Yeah.
are here.
Definitely at the time.
This is a tremendous teen movie year.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
All That is like the one that didn't
Wonderful.
get drafted, but is very important. If only to Sixpence None the Richer's bottom line.
Also, Never Been Kissed undrafted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great movie.
have you
A
gone back? Has anyone
Yeah.
gone back
I've
and
gone
seen
back and
Never
watched
Been
that.
Kissed?
I
as
watch it
a-
every week.
You can
once
put
a
on a
week,
list.
yeah.
And you're like, Michael
Draft that.
Vartan knows what
When
he's talking about.
It's a movie
favorite
about
of
like
the
a
Hustlers.
30-year-old going to high school, which is a little strange.
Right, and
And
then
her-
falling in love with her teacher.
Oh, no,
and
wait,
her
which is
teacher
the one with
falling in love
Rachel Lee
her.
Cook.
Yeah,
That's She's All That.
She's All That. That's good.
When we did Never Been Kissed for 1999 rewatchables, it was me, Bill, and Juliet. When we all got around the table and we were just like, so this is an interesting choice now that we've rewatched it. Huh?
You were like, yeah, when we watched it when we were younger, we're like, it's so romantic. He sees her
Right.
for who she really is. And then you're like, no, he wants to fuck his teenage student.
Do you remember the movie Hiding Out, where John Cryer hides out in the high school and falls in love with a high school student? He's supposed to be like 30 years old. You remember that?
No.
You guys never saw that?
That's the first time you've ever asked me if I remember a movie and I wasn't on
And
your
you didn't
wavelength.
really know. Yeah, 80s.
Shout out John Cryer. Never Been Kissed is like, let's take the premise of American Beauty, which we all agree is creepy, and try to make it a lighthearted Drew Barrymore rom-com. So
It's not what you want.
what else do we not?
Shout out to
have?
EdTV.
EdTV is
EdTV.
so fun.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh, we're just doing stuff we
Just
missed.
honorable
now.
mentions.
EdTV got swallowed by the Truman Show, but EdTV
Yes.
is really good.
But it
The
has Jen
Wood.
Elfman in it.
Very
Two
important. Get drafted.
much maligned, I think much maligned, New York movies from great New York filmmakers. Summer of Sam from Spike and Bringing Out the Dead from
I
Martin
was
Scorsese.
really surprised that like neither of you picked Bringing Out the Dead.
I think Bringing Out the Dead was
Very
like,
good.
I wanted it so bad it hurt, you know? And then when
Yeah.
I saw it, I was like, this isn't it.
That's
It's so. I feel like it's
Not
so
very
close.
It's
good.
though.
really close.
It's
and
really
really
so
on the
close.
edge of
I
being
know.
great.
There
Like
is
when the
there is a
Clash
strong
playing
contingent
and
of
they're
people who
driving
love
around.
it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking right here with you.
It's always
but
been a little come up a little short for me too.
It's one of those things you have to project a lot on to make it stick together.
I also love 200 Cigarettes
Mhm.
from this year.
Wow, look at all these goddamn movies,
of
man.
movies.
Is
There's
this
a
just
ton of
list
stuff.
movies at this point that you're
Yeah.
What
scrolling
about
down?
the beginning of the Analyze franchise? Analyze
Yeah.
this?
Analyze
At the
this.
time, I was like, that to me is cinema. That is a
Cinema.
very, very funny movie.
You.
And you know who wrote Analyze
My parents
This?
thought that was so
Lonergan.
funny.
Kenneth
Did
Lonergan.
you guys
Oh.
ever see the Michelle Pfeiffer "I Found My Son After Years" deep into
Deep
the
End of the
ocean?
Ocean?
Ocean.
Yes.
Yes.
Saw that in
Treat-
theaters
Treat
with
Williams,
my mom.
like
Of course.
that's a bomb ass movie. Yeah,
Really good.
Baby Genius. I'm just joking.
Lake Placid, though.
Like
I do love Lake Placid.
Bats. Did you guys see Bats? It's about a movie where
There's
people are
a
tortured by
James
bats.
Bond movie this year that we've only like glancingly mentioned.
This is the
Yeah.
Denise
The world
Richards
is not
one, right?
enough.
The world's not enough.
Yeah.
Idle Hands.
Christmas Jones.
Here are the actually great movies from the year that we didn't talk about. Almodovar's All About My Mother
Yes.
came out this year, which was Oscar nominated. This was kind of his Oscar breakthrough. I don't think he had been recognized before that. Mike Leigh's Topsy Turvy, maybe the best movie that was undrafted here today. If you haven't seen that, about theater troupe putting on the
Gilbert
Mikado.
Sullivan,
Yeah,
yeah.
incredible movie. It's a Woody Allen movie this year, Sweet and Lowdown,
Oh, yeah.
which was kind of a big deal at the time.
Super nominated.
Sean Penn and Samantha Morton.
As Django Reinhardt, right?
That's right. Tim Robbins' Cradle Will Rock.
I kind of love that movie.
It's a
when I
really
saw
good
I
it.
don't
movie.
really like that movie.
Titus, Julie Taymor's adaptation of Titus Andronicus,
Sure.
which was really, really good. But I'm a Cheerleader. And Natasha
Natasha
Lyonne
Lyonne,
fans.
That,
Yeah.
I would have put that in
That's her.
comedy if I hadn't gotten Drop Dead.
My beloved Clint Eastwood's True Crime.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen that one?
I had that ranked.
Cookie's Fortune from Robert Altman. Ratcatcher, Lynn Ramsey's movie. Two movies that I always confuse for one another, Mystery Alaska and Outside Providence.
I
Mystery
don't-
Alaska
Mystery
is
Alaska.
without irony my favorite sports
I
movie.
can't believe I didn't
It's a
take
hockey
Brokedown
movie?
Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell
Yeah.
Crowe.
Russell
Yeah.
Crowe.
But I don't even think this movie I enjoyed it that much. But like every time anyone asks me to carry anything, that's if someone's asking you to carry something through security, that's a red flag in a lot
The
of ways.
TSA jumped all over
But
that.
I think about this one a lot.
Is Jawbreaker in 99?
Yes,
it is.
we haven't
Sure
mentioned
is.
Jawbreaker.
Oh
Also a
my
good movie.
God.
Yeah.
There were a lot of
Teen
movies
movie
this
year.
year.
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, I was
Sleepy
gonna.
Hollow. Someone could have taken Sleepy Hollow and Oscar.
Oscars.
nomination.
Yeah,
it's
And
on
I
my
long
almost
list, yeah.
did.
It was on my long
Lake
list for
Placid.
Oscars. Yeah.
Yeah, Rob
Yeah,
mentioned
Placid.
it. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
Lake
Lake
Placid.
Placid's great.
Lake Placid's fun.
I love the crew in Lake Placid, and in particular Oliver
Oliver
Platt, as
Platt, yeah.
is he a professor that's obsessed with the mythology of crocodiles?
Yeah, incredible stuff.
Who among
Chill.
us? October Sky.
That's right.
You know,
all of these movies.
You
I
don't
saw
like October
I
fucking.
Sky?
thought it was a little not as good as I wanted it to be. I
Damn.
had never seen it, and I just
Oh.
watched
I
it this
don't know.
weekend.
That's definitely the
It has-
better of the Chris Cooper as gruff father movies of
Oh,
1999
good call.
for sure.
You know what's a
Very
good
good
thriller? Stir of Echoes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kevin Bacon,
I dig that.
David
Thought you were
Kett
gonna say
movie.
Stuart
that
Little.
movie. Stigmata.
So it's October Sky, yeah. It's October Sky where they were trying to build the rockets.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like, it's about the real dude, Homer,
Homer.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Homer Hickam.
Or Hickam.
Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
I have that on here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I saw it in
Payback.
theaters. Payback. Yeah, the Mel Gibson movie.
Yep.
Mhm. Anywhere but here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
What
for all you Portman
Susan
fans?
Sarandon,
Oh,
Natalie
yeah, that's a
Portman.
Mona
I wanna-
Simpson book, right?
Yeah.
Where are you on Man on the Moon?
I unequivocally love it,
Not
and
to
it
be
was
confused.
number
Walk
3
on
on
the
my
Moon?
drama list. And
3.
yeah,
Really?
yeah, and I think Jim Carrey is completely misunderstood. I'm holding to that, and I think his
Why did you not mention
his
it until
efforts
Van
to
just
go
asked?
serious have been punished so
It-
intensely that he has to play Dr. Robotnik nonstop until he dies.
Yeah,
Not my
It
favorite.
felt like
It's not that
at the
good.
time.
Yeah.
It felt like
Sidney
at the
Pollack.
time, because I wasn't a fully formed film brain at the time, but I still could feel the whiff,
Mhm.
the swing and the miss. Like not from the movie itself, but I had a concept of how important this was for him and how important it was to him, and the fact that he didn't get there, I could feel the wind coming
The,
out of his sails.
sweatiness.
Yep.
Yeah, how much he wanted it.
Like he was just, I never said, I'm like, shit, this is Jim Carrey. He's going for it, right? The Truman Show and the whole thing, he's inching up there. And I feel like everything is different if that movie wins 4 Oscars.
No,
and
but he does
wins.
Eternal Sunshine after that.
Yeah, but even still then, like, that's a big deal, but that's almost like he was going for the next level of it.
Have you seen Jim and Andy, the documentary about?
I haven't.
Has anyone here seen Jim and Andy?
Mm.
So one of the best movies of 1999 is American Movie, which is a documentary about a group of guys in Wisconsin who are trying to make an independent horror movie. One guy in particular working with his partner, and it's just like a shattering, beautiful, hilarious portrait of people like trying and failing to do something. I highly recommend you watch it. But Chris Smith, the documentarian who made American Movie, also made a movie, I want to say maybe 8-9 years ago, called Jim and Andy, which is effectively just an archival documentary with one long interview with Jim Carrey, where he talks about staying in character for the entire production of Man on the Moon to be Andy Kaufman and what it was like to be him and to watch people interact with him. And it's a fascinating, bizarre, kind of sad portrait of a person like kind of losing their mind to do something that they think is an artistic leap.
Like you making big pick.
Sometimes I do feel like the Andy Kaufman of this show.
This
But-
year, yeah.
But we're like in the era now where all biopics are rewarded, and I feel like if he had made that movie 10 years later, it would have been considered differently. It's Milos Forman. Like, it's not some dude. It's one of the best directors of all time.
Jim Carrey should have made a Bob Marley biopic.
Here we
I-
go.
I just want to shout out an underrated entry into the Diane Lane is gonna fuck a stranger category, which is A Walk on the Moon,
Mm.
or Viggo Mortensen plays the blouse man. Great stuff.
We forgot about Deep
Oh,
Blue
man.
Sea.
While we're talking about hot people,
Oh.
Yeah.
we should mention
Oh.
Random
Should have been
Hearts.
Oscar nominated Best
Deepest
Original Song.
Blue is, my head is like a shark's fin.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
saying.
LL.
LL.
Incredible
Big
stuff.
LL year, honestly.
Saffron Burrows.
Teaching Mrs. Tingle.
Yeah, Kevin
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah, just cashing out on the Scream check.
Yeah.
Wait, this is the guy from the faculty. Oh, and Scream, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ravenous.
Oh, is this the eating people movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A. That movie right there is my shit.
It's messed up.
Top
The-
5 cannibal films.
Have you seen that?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
They eat people and then they get superpowers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I fucking love that movie.
That's how you
Sorry.
feel after a pod.
Protein powder and yogurt. I feel like that.
It's Guy
Yeah,
Pearce.
how's that
Guy,
paying out?
no.
Yeah, it's Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, yeah.
Grimy
But I
Guy
also
Pearce
later.
is the
High
best.
And
Oscar.
Robert Carlyle?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's just watch the movie. The movie is so
Could be worse.
odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I keep going through movie
Yeah.
titles?
Yeah,
Why not?
Let's see if I have
It's
any.
Why
our
stop
favorite
now?
part of every
End of
podcast.
Days, the Arnold
Arnold
Schwarzenegger
Schwarzenegger
movie.
movie.
This is kind of the end of Arnold Schwarzenegger as we knew him.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to. He takes what's the lady from the Coven,
Robin Tunney.
Robin Tunney. He's trying to save her. She's like, that's what kind of baby is going to end the world.
It's Satan.
craft.
It's Satan is trying to take her over. Yeah.
And then who plays Satan in that? It's like
Gabriel Byrne?
Gabriel Byrne. Yeah.
he stays playing either priest or Satan.
Following, Christopher Nolan's first film. Debuted at Sundance.
Were you there?
I was crying in the front row. Thank you, sir.
May I have another?
Thou hath arrived. Maybe it wasn't Sundance because Memento is Sundance, right? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Let me see if I have anything else. Anybody? Buena Vista Social Club? Wim Wenders documentary?
Buena
Oscar
Vista
nominated?
Social Club, every mom I knew had that soundtrack.
It still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One for our number one wrestling correspondent, Van Lathan, Beyond the Mat.
Oh, it's great.
Revelatory film about how professional wrestling actually works and the toll it takes on its performers.
There were some great under the radar wrestling
I'm
docs.
just trying to annoy Amanda at this
in
point.
1990. You don't like wrestling?
Amanda just wants to be done with this podcast.
You don't
She
like
wants to go eat a
wrestling?
sandwich.
Yeah,
Amanda
like,
has
are
been
any
done
of
with
these
this
movies about
podcast.
people
Never
eating
ordered.
lunch?
Yeah, but what I can do is vamp about the
What about the bone
Also, I got-
collectors?
you have
Talk
a
about the bone
Leave a
collectors.
cool 5 for
3
Stuart
hours
Little.
ago for vamping
Yeah,
in order
go.
to
Dig it.
readjust my strategy. And now Sean's just like reading lists of movies, which is what he does on every podcast.
Mhm.
I was at WrestleMania.
Yeah, keep going. Is there
In
a story?
Philadelphia?
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. It was fucking 37 degrees and they expected us to sit outside and watch wrestling.
It seemed like it was
Oh,
a
it
good
was outside?
WrestleMania, though.
It was fucking fantastic. I didn't go the second night. It's too cold.
Seems like you missed a lot.
Yeah, I did. Regret it.
Who are the big wrestlers right now?
Cody Rhodes, the Universal WWE Champion, undisputed.
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre,
Never heard of him.
CM Punk,
Okay.
The Rock came back.
I
Main
did see
event,
that,
Jay
but he's not
Uso.
endorsing anyone because
Rhea
he doesn't
Ripley,
believe in
Jay
cancel
Cargill.
culture.
I mean, what you want? You want to go SmackDown or Raw? Logan Paul, Kevin Owens. It's a great time in professional wrestling, man.
Did you say Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre.
That's-
Seth
yeah.
Rollins?
That was like Dobbins
Rollins?
Revenge.
Oh,
like-
1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre. Put you in the Claymore.
You guys want to wrap this up?
Let's
Yeah,
do
we should.
it. I feel like we really did it.
You gonna recap everyone's teams?
Mallory has
Detroit
it all
Rock
gridded
City,
out.
I missed a couple.
Double
Missed a
Jeopardy.
couple.
You guys see Drives Me
Detroit Rock
Crazy.
City.
Double Jeopardy being in the top blockbusters for that year.
Wild.
Her Power, Ashley
Ashley
Judd.
Judd.
Yeah.
In her
Entrapment.
era.
Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery.
I saw it
Catherine
in
Zeta-Jones
theaters.
and a beam of red light, I think is what
That's-
you mean.
Double
Is the real
Jeopardy,
code.
Double
Double Jeopardy
Jeopardy
really
like
feels
this.
like a blockbuster movie. Like you can imagine walking past the cover.
Yeah.
Can't you feel it?
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
do feel it.
New
Why don't we
Orleans.
That's also
recap
probably
in?
how I learned about the concept, you know?
Without question.
Yeah.
We're gonna recap in draft order. So Amanda, you're gonna go first. What
well,
are
I
your
don't
6
have
films?
my doc open yet,
There you
so
go.
I'm not going to.
Here you go.
Why do you have dark? I don't like dark mode. Okay.
For my
Um,
my eye integrity.
But I
And
don't know
well-being.
what category.
Please tweet at Mallory Rubin to go to the optometrist. Thank you so much.
Go this way.
Okay, no, I'm just
So
Yeah,
thinking.
sorry
you guys
that
know
I
about the
vamped
time
for
that my
so
mom
long
emailed
with
Joanna
movie titles
asking
and
her
we
to
could
encourage
not.
me to go to the eye doctor.
Yeah, Mallory's
Sorry, is
mom
it like a
emails me
block?
about
Are
the
you afraid of
optometrist and the dentist. I think also.
All medical
Claude, please cut
I,
all this.
I also don't like going to the dentist, and I don't believe in dentistry.
Don't believe in dentistry.
Well, I like preventative dentistry is, I think, a fraud. Like, obviously,
your whole life.
I mean, definitely more than 10, but mostly because my mother like marched me.
I've been 3 times.
and most of the time they're just like, "Oh no, you
Did
were
the
using your
dentist
teeth."
3 times.
I've been to the dentist 3 times in my entire
I thought you
life.
said you don't identify with the British. What's going on?
3 times in my whole life. I've been to the dentist.
It's like
Basically
if
the
you
limey
have a
over
pain
here.
or an issue, I think they can solve it. But I think the rest of it is like, just a money making
I'm
scheme.
with you.
Anyway,
We're going in chronological order
What did I
of
do for
the rounds we
drama?
took our
It doesn't
picks in, or
matter.
No, you can just recap from
Amanda
top to
doing
bottom.
her full.
Yeah.
Just name them.
okay. In drama, I have Cruel Intentions. In action thriller horror, I have The Thomas Crown Affair, 1999. In comedy, I have Dick, fan. In blockbuster, I have Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. In Oscar nominee, I have The Talented Mr. Ripley, the #1 pick. And in wild card, I have The Best Man.
What a zany little group of movies that is.
Wild.
Thanks so much. You know?
Vibe.
Rob Mahoney.
Yeah, in drama, I have The Straight Story. In comedy, I have Notting Hill. In Oscar, I have Election. In action horror thriller, I have Existenz. In blockbuster, I have The Matrix. In wildcard, I have Perfect Blue.
Van Lathan.
In action, thriller, horror, I have Fight Club. In comedy, I have Varsity Blues. Oscar movies, I have the unimpeachable classic American Beauty. In wild card, I have Dogma. In blockbuster, I have Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And in drama, I have Arlington Road.
Okay, I'm excited to recap the Film Bro starter pack that I've selected. In drama, I have The Limey. In action thriller horror, I have Eyes Wide Shut. In comedy, I have South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. In blockbuster, I have The Sixth Sense. In Oscar nominee, I have Being John Malkovich. And in wild card, I have Run, Lola, Run. Joanna?
In drama, I have Three Kings. In comedy, I have Drop Dead Gorgeous. In action, thriller, horror, I have Galaxy Quest. In blockbuster, I have The Mummy. In Oscar nom, I have Magnolia. And in wild card, I have Iron Giant.
Mallory Rubin.
In comedy, I selected Office Space. In blockbuster, I selected Toy Story 2. In action, thriller, horror to Christopher's dismay, I selected Lock, Stock.
That was tough.
Wild card, I selected 10 Things I Hate About You. Drama, Princess Mononoke. And Oscar nominee, The End of the Affair.
CR, wrap it up.
Last pick, but one of my favorite drafts. In drama, I got Any Given Sunday. In action, horror, thriller, I got 8mm. In comedy, I got Go. In blockbuster, I took Blair Witch Project. In Oscar nominee, I took The Insider. And in wild card, I drafted Bowfinger.
That's a real ringer lineup.
This draft is wild.
Does everyone feel good?
Yeah,
Honestly,
great.
really good.
Yeah,
Actually.
this was fun.
There were enough films to support this project,
More
so I'm
than.
glad we
Shit,
did it
we
this
left
way.
movies off.
More than.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think about
You
this.
didn't even take
I
Almodovar.
love John.
Next time I'll have to. Okay, so this is where you can find everyone on this podcast on Ringer NBA Group Chat and the Prestige TV podcast, Rob Mahoney. On House of R, the Prestige TV podcast, Trial by Content, Joanna Robinson. On Higher Learning and the Midnight Boys, Van Lathan, and the Rewatchables sometimes.
Rewatchables, yeah.
On the Big Picture, hey, what's up, Amanda? Also Jam Session. What other
Dogma.
pods do you have?
I mean, that's the main two.
Okay. On House of R, Mallory Rubin. Watch. Is that not still on?
I am now like 3 hours late to recording the watch. I have to go record the watch right now.
Do you want to get up like mid-record?
Kaya got here before we started
I
recording.
did call Kaya. I was like, I think I may have underestimated how long this will take. So
Yeah.
she knew.
Called
What
her on
is-
the phone?
Can you get Andy to talk on the episode about how he feels about getting pushed 2 hours by
I
this
definitely
pod?
will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
I will let him talk about Bluey for like 40 minutes today.
Oh yeah.
I'll fuck with Bluey.
This is your Shogun episode 9 episode, right?
No,
Oh.
this is just me and Andy catching up after a
Alright.
weekend of culture.
God, thank God.
There was a critical episode of Bluey.
I
It was
heard.
the finale.
Well, there's speculation that it's done because of the magnitude of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Can't weigh in on that otherwise.
I do some other shows, by the way. You know, the Parker Tiles show.
Yeah, how's that going? That's not.
That's not you, though.
Bad Roper's on.
No,
that
I
show.
just
Yeah,
mean like
yeah.
I
You
executive
produce it. Yeah. Okay.
He's
That's
behind
not
the
me.
scenes.
Yeah, no. Anything else that you want to?
I sometimes appear on the Rewatchables.
What about the metal draft?
The metal draft
Yeah.
is coming
Oh,
this week.
when is?
Cannot
is it
wait.
this week?
Yeah.
When's the draft?
My
Corey?
favorite annual tradition, next Thursday.
Next week.
Next week.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry, Corey.
What's the metal draft?
You don't know about this?
No.
He plays Satan or something.
No, I play a
Trapped in
demon inside of
demon.
Danny Kelly's
Okay.
hard drive.
It really needs to be
Crush and
seen to be
prospect
believed.
tape.
Kind of the
talking about where
existence of
did
2024.
Daniel-
Yeah.
And he doesn't
A lot
like
of goopy
cilantro.
ports.
And
We've
He has-
potted through the pandemic. Me and Danny Kelly, we've met each other like twice in real life. But we make this every year. We make a video where I am a demon inside of his hard drive drafting
Do
NFL.
the metal draft voice.
No,
Do
you
it.
You
can't.
will
Do it about
love
Caleb
it,
Williams
man.
right now.
You will love it.
I had the
and so
pleasure of
Danny
telling
is
Chris
just like
he has done
doing
6 of these.
his
We've made
draft
6
thing,
of
and then
them.
Chris
Yeah,
is
this is
like,
the 6th.
Danny's just coming in and he's like, Brock Bowers, a very impressive tight end prospect coming out of, and then Chris enters in
and
demon
it's
mode.
also so it's like a metal like heavy metal.
Heavy
a demon.
metal.
It's
Okay,
actually
that's
Yeah.
all Corey's visuals. So
Can you do an impression of his demon
I have to
voice?
preserve my vocal
And
cords,
is
so
it
unfortunately I cannot do
better
that.
than your Austin Powers impression or no?
Should I do a real Austin Powers?
I would
Yeah,
love
go
that.
for it.
So
Yeah.
take us out.
Take
with
us
Austin
out.
Powers.
Should I just do the Bobby thank you in the Austin Powers
Yeah.
voice?
Yeah.
Thank you to our producer, Bobby Wagner, for his work on this episode. Do I make you horny? Randy. See you later this week.
Worst thing I've ever heard.